Chapter 542, The Unlucky Gong. 3. Why would I come out just because you asked me to? Who do you think you are? Chen Wu, who was invisible and mixed in the crowd, said disdainfully. Those words were said by the few of them just now, but this flattering elder couldn't find their seats at all. Hee, this feeling was really too satisfying. He's Malgui Wu's lackey. Hei Zi said viciously. Oh, then he will definitely fall into the toilet. Ha, he has to be Master's partner. Chen Wu predicted and laughed hysterically. Who is it? Come out here. Elder Hao's lungs were about to explode from anger as he roared while jumping up and down. Lackey elder, I won't scram. Why don't you scram for me to see? Chen Wu provoked. Hurry up and find these two troublemakers. Elder Hao was so angry that his entire body was trembling as he hurriedly ordered his subordinates. Yes, his subordinates answered helplessly. Then they went to the crowd to search and reported directly, Elder Hao, we didn't find the whereabouts of those two people. How is this possible? Could there be a ghost? Elder Hao roared without caring about his image. That's right. We are ghosts. You won't be able to find us. Chen Wu gave Blackie a look after speaking. The two of them immediately attacked at the same time tacitly, punching and kicking Elder Hao fiercely. Aha! Aha! Elder Hao's painful wail kept coming out of his mouth, making everyone's hearts tremble. There's really a ghost. Elder Hao's subordinates were so scared that their faces were pale, their legs were trembling, and their bodies were trembling as they said. That was because they only heard Elder Hao's painful howl and saw blood constantly seeping out of Elder Hao's body. However, they didn't see who attacked, nor did they feel any fluctuation of mystic energy. This was enough to show that the person who beat Elder Hao up was not a human. Ah! Could it be Elder Hao's enemy? They couldn't help guessing. Save me, save me. Elder Hao pleaded weakly. Elder Hao, how can we save you if we can't see those ghosts? The subordinate said very awkwardly. Alas, how could they be a match for the ghosts? Moreover, they didn't want to be entangled by those evil ghosts after saving Elder Hao. Haha, whoever dares to save him will suffer the same fate as him. Chen Wu threatened. Indeed, no one dared to move after he said that. A few minutes later, Elder Hao, who had been beaten beyond recognition, finally fainted from exhaustion. Chen Wu and Hei Zi clapped their hands as if they hadn't had enough. Their gazes collided, and they looked at each other with smiles. Then, the two of them tacitly said with slight dissatisfaction, you really don't resist the beatings. Your bodies are too weak. Hee, beating someone up with their fists was also quite enjoyable. No wonder Miss Beasts often used physical attacks in close combat instead of mystic techniques. This feeling seemed to have a greater sense of accomplishment than using mystic techniques. They also learned this move from Miss Beasts. They tested it today and indeed didn't disappoint. Everyone present and Elder Hao's subordinates couldn't help but be at a loss for words when they heard the slightly displeased voice coming from the void. They thought to themselves, aren't you just pretending after benefiting? Alas! Poor Elder Hao. This was really an unexpected calamity. Tell me, why did he have to provoke these two unknown jinxes? Great, he was beaten up now. In fact, the mystics present were not fools. How could they not see that it was not a ghost at all? President Wu had obviously offended someone, so he was messed up so badly. How could someone who dared to mess with the vice president of the Mystic Association headquarters be afraid of an elder? Therefore, this Elder Hao was a big fool in their eyes now. Chen Wu and Hei Zi were about to leave after beating him up when Wu Gong, who had been hanging on the city wall, suddenly woke up. Wu Gong endured the headache and opened his blood-stained eyes. His brain was still in a daze because of the blow to his head. He looked at the environment in front of him in confusion and asked foolishly, where is this? Why am I here? Ha, so our high and mighty Vice President Wu has woken up. Congratulations. Chen Wu gloated. Where am I? Who are you? Wu Gong looked down and realized that he was surrounded by people. Moreover, everyone's gazes were sympathetic and strange. He couldn't help but be surprised as his mind gradually cleared. Vice President Wu, your current location is on the city wall at the city gate. As for me, just take it that I'm here to collect debts from you, haha. Cheng Wu said with a fake smile. On the city wall? Wu Gong lowered his head and looked at himself. What he saw almost made him faint again. Damn! Not only was he naked, but his body was also covered in yellow feces. At this moment, he was emitting a foul smell. Damn it, who did this? Come out if you have the guts. Wu Gong's mind was completely awake. His aura, which had been in a high position for many years, was unleashed. Even though he was in a sorry state, the domineering aura of a superior increased without reduction. It's you. Vice President Wu fell into the latrine. You can't take the shame, so you came to commit suicide at the city gate. We came to watch the commotion when we heard the news, He Zi explained understandingly. What are you waiting for? Put me down quickly. Wu Gong ignored He Zi and roared at his subordinates from the Mystic Association. Yes, yes. The dazed subordinates reacted and hurriedly saved Wu Gong from the city wall in a fluster. Take off your clothes. Wu Gong ordered a subordinate with a body similar to his. Yes. The subordinate hurriedly took off his coat and handed it to Wu Gong. What happened to Elder Hao? Wu Gong frowned and asked in puzzlement as he looked at the bloodied Elder Hao lying on the ground after putting on his coat. Report, Elder Hao was beaten up by a ghost, a subordinate reported very seriously with an abnormally serious expression on his face. Nonsense. How can there be ghosts in this world? Wu Gong kicked the subordinate angrily and reprimanded with a displeased face. Chapter 543, The Unlucky Wu Gong, 4, President, it's true. The fallen subordinate hurriedly got up and said stubbornly. Ha! How can our Vice President Wu believe that there are ghosts in the world? He might have done many guilty things, but he won't believe in retribution. Cheng Wu's voice sounded again. Who's pretending there? Show yourself if you have the guts. Wu Gonghua roared. The enemy in front of him couldn't see or touch him. He was really helpless. Vice President Wu, do that for me first. If you scram well, I'll reward you with some money, Cheng Wu said frivolously, treating Wu Gong as a monkey performing tricks. Humph. So you're also a coward. You don't dare to fight me seriously at all. You only know how to scheme in secret. Wu Gong forced himself to calm down and pretended to be calm. Of course there's no need to deal with shameless people openly. Come and arrest me if you have the ability. Don't go to the toilet so often in the future if you don't have the ability. Otherwise, you will still fall down, haha. Cheng Wu reminded. With that, he quietly left the city gate with Blackie. Hee, it was time to go back to sleep after watching the commotion. Damn it, I won't let you go. Wu Gong was so angry that he lost his mind. Countless mystic energy gathered in his hand and were released into the air non-stop because he couldn't determine the exact location of the enemy, so he could only casually cast it into the void. Run! President Wu is crazy. The surrounding people scattered in fright when they saw the light blue mystic energy wreaking havoc in the sky. Ah! Their lives would be in danger if they were swept by the mystic supremacy's mystic energy. President, stop! Stop! They've left. His subordinates hurriedly hid and shouted when they saw the irrational Wu Gong, hoping to stop his madness. Ah! The might and aura of a mystic supremacy were not a joke. They did not want to lose their lives even though they were only subordinates. Wu Gong, who was in a frenzy, ignored their words. He continued to use the mystic energy in his hand until the mystic energy in his body was exhausted. He fell to the ground dispiritedly and murmured, he really escaped. Yes. Those two people are long gone, a subordinate said honestly while suppressing his fear. Find them. Find them for me. Even if you have to dig up every inch of the ground, find those who dare to oppose me and kill them without mercy after finding them. Wugong's eyes were bloodshot as he ordered with hatred. Humph. He had been in charge of the Mystic Association for so many years and had never been bullied so badly. He couldn't take it lying down if he didn't find those people and reduce them to ashes. Yes, the subordinates answered hurriedly. After that, they sent Wugong and Elder Hao back to their residence and began searching the world. Qing Wu and He Zi had already left the city gate when Wugong went crazy. They returned to Wugong and the others' temporary residence and sneaked into the empty room. Everyone in the room, who had been waiting for a long time, asked curiously about the situation at the city gate after seeing the two of them return. Qing Wu and He Zi sang well and described the situation vividly to everyone. Everyone laughed hysterically with joy after hearing this. After laughing, a mystic sovereign couldn't help asking, "Big Brother Cheng, what should we do next?" "Hee, of course we're going to continue causing trouble," Cheng Wu said with a smile. It hadn't even been a day, but Wugong was already covered in dirt. "Hee, if they stayed here for a few days, Wugong might go crazy." Okay, it's good to cause trouble. It will save us a lot of trouble if we can drive Wugong crazy, a mystic sovereign said excitedly. He had never done such a thing in his life. However, it felt quite novel. Hee. "Big Brother Cheng, what should we continue causing trouble for?" He Zi asked excitedly. "I intend to drug him and make him stay for half a month. Then, I'll drop a few more latrines, hee. Cheng Wu said with a naughty smile. "Big Brother Cheng, you're ruthless." The mystic sovereigns looked at Cheng Wu with admiration and praised him. Alas! Big Brother Cheng was such a steady and upright child back then, but he actually learned bad things now. Miss Enemy is our enemy, and being kind to our enemy is being cruel to ourselves, so of course we can't let ourselves down. Cheng Wu said righteously, his expression abnormally serious. Big Brother Cheng is right. Let's quickly drug him, the mystic sovereign said impatiently. Okay, I'll give you the medicine. Let's split up. Cheng Wu distributed the medicine Leng Ruoxue gave him to everyone. Then, everyone split up to administer the medicine. Wugong and the others were in deep trouble the following days. Wugong had suffered, and Sun Wei, Wugong's ally, naturally would not have it easy. As the overall in charge of this matter, Cheng Wu divided his team into two groups. He oversaw the mansion where Wugong was, and he handed in another relatively stronger mystic sovereign, Song Di, to be in charge of Sun Wei's place. After the explosion of the Alchemist Association, Sun Wei arranged his residence in the inn in Carefree City, which was second only to the Carefree Pavilion. He also booked the inn as the temporary construction site for the Alchemist Association. At the inn where Sun Wei was staying, Song Di and the others were hiding in the empty room next to Sun Wei's room. At this moment, they were discussing a strategy in the room. They already knew about Wugong and were deeply inspired. Therefore, they had been discussing how to not be inferior to what Cheng Wu and the others had done. Big Brother Song, Wugong lost his face. "We can't fall too far behind," a mystic sovereign couldn't help but say. "Yes, we have to discuss it properly and see how we can leave a deep impression on Sun Wei." Song Di agreed with his partner's words and said with a naughty smile. A soft moan sounded from the next room as everyone was discussing. They immediately perked up when they heard that. Everyone looked at each other and smiled tacitly before leaving the room. Chapter 544, Sun Wei's Ending, 1. At the door of Sun Wei's room, everyone turned invisible and listened for a while. Then, Song Di gently pushed open a crack in the door and threw a small pill into the room. After waiting for a while, a scream suddenly sounded in the room, followed by the angry voice of a woman. "What's the matter with you? Why did you suddenly become like this?" Lan Ninger's beautiful face was full of displeasure in the room. This man was really too useless. He actually couldn't continue anymore. Alas! How irritating. I don't know either. It was fine just now. Sun Wei's face was equally depressed. He couldn't understand what was wrong with him. He obviously wanted it very much, but a certain part of him was disappointing. Did you indulge too much and do it too many times? Lan Ninger questioned with a face full of disbelief. At this moment, she was thinking that Sun Wei must have gone to find another woman, which was why he was so powerless in front of her. Ninger, you have to believe me. There's really no one else but you, Sun Wei promised sincerely. Boo-hoo. Why was Ninger so unreasonable? He was with Ninger almost every day. He had to have the time to find other women even if he wanted to. Then what's going on? We won't be done if you don't explain it to me clearly. Lan Ninger said stubbornly. Ninger, I really don't know. Perhaps the pressure has been too great recently. Sun Wei guessed. Something kept happening around him these 2 days, but he couldn't find the instigator. How could he not be angry? In that case, rest early today. Lan Ninger said impatiently. She despised Sun Wei's uselessness in her heart. She even felt that this man's mental endurance was too poor. If Brother Leng encountered such a matter, he definitely wouldn't be as useless as him. After speaking, Lan Ninger turned around and went to sleep with her back facing Sun Wei. Ninger. Sun Wei's already annoyed heart became even more depressed seeing Lan Ninger's actions. Sun Wei lay beside Lan Ninger and listened to her even breathing, but he couldn't sleep for a long time. After some time, Sun Wei felt his sexual desire again, and even that desire became stronger. Moreover, a certain part reacted again. After a while of silence, Sun Wei felt that not only was he unable to suppress the burning desire, it was becoming more and more intense. He had no choice but to wake Lan Ninger up and roll over to press her down. What are you doing? Lan Ninger opened her eyes and questioned with a displeased face. She was already asleep, but Sun Wei actually woke her up. She would definitely not let Sun Wei go if he couldn't give her a reasonable explanation. Ninger, I want it so much. Sun Wei's hands kept swimming around Lan Ninger's red fruit body, and his hot lips kissed Lan Ninger's snow-white skin. You want it? Can you do it or not? Lan Ninger questioned impatiently. She didn't want Sun Wei to fail again halfway. One had to know that the feeling of neither going up nor down was very uncomfortable. You'll know if I can do it or not if you try. Sun Wei said angrily. No man could bear Lan Ninger's doubts, and he was naturally no exception. But Sun Wei couldn't keep it up again in no time. You're really too useless. Lan Ninger roared furiously. Her sexual drive was just aroused when Sun Wei collapsed weakly again. How could she not be angry? Ninger, don't be angry. I'll try again. Sun Wei said angrily. He didn't believe that he couldn't finish it. After giving up and trying a few more times, Sun Wei still couldn't harden up. Lan Ninger completely lost her patience and was even angrier. Sun Wei, you're really too useless. Lan Ninger roared angrily. He couldn't even be a normal man. She really didn't know what else this man could count on him for. Ninger, this was an accident. Really, I promise. Sun Wei quickly coaxed. He might be unable to make himself lose face as a man, but he really didn't think that this was his problem. He always felt that he was normal. An accident? What can you guarantee? Lan Ninger's beautiful eyes glanced at Sun Wei, obviously not believing his words. Ninger, let's try a few more times. I definitely won't have any problems, Sun Wei discussed. Do you still want to do it? How long do you want to torment me for? Lan Ninger was angry. She was aroused but couldn't get off every time. This feeling was not good, so she really couldn't cooperate with Sun Wei anymore. Let's try a few more times. It will definitely work, Sun Wei said, unwilling to give up. He couldn't believe that he really couldn't. After all, if he couldn't do this, it would be a fatal blow to any man. Do it yourself if you want to. I'm going to bed. Lan Ninger said coldly. Then she turned her back to Sun Wei and went to sleep. Ninger. Sun Wei called out softly, but Lan Ninger didn't give him any response. This made him even more annoyed. Moreover, the fire in his body began to stir again for some reason. Sun Wei looked at his excited self and pressed down on Lan Ninger without any explanation. Lan Ninger was woken up by his actions again. She glared at him with a displeased face and said, "What do you want to do?" "I said I want it." Sun Wei continued. However, Lan Ninger was a little impatient by his slightly crude actions. She swatted away Sun Wei's large hand that was wandering on her body and roared furiously, "Don't touch me. You are my woman. Who else should I touch if not you?" Sun Wei's anger rose. He also didn't feel good repeating this torment. And Lan Ninger was so uncooperative, so this couldn't help making him a little angry. "Let's talk about it when you can do it." Lan Ninger's beautiful face was full of disdain. What she implied was that he couldn't do it now. "I can do it now." Sun Wei roared furiously. Then, he ignored Lan Ninger's refusal and wanted to use force. A few minutes later, Sun Wei couldn't keep it up anymore again. Chapter 545, Sun Wei's Ending, 2, This is what you mean by you can do it now. Lan Ninger was so angry that her entire body was trembling. She had been tormented countless times in this short period of time. Moreover, Sun Wei, who always doted on her, actually used force on her. However, it was fine if he used force to finish it, but the result was the same every time. The repeated torment made her lose all her patience, and the contempt for Sun Wei in her heart gradually deepened. "I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose." "Ninger, don't be angry with me," Sun Wei said guiltily. "Can I sleep now?" Lan Ninger asked coldly. The word impatient was obvious on her face, and the disdain in her beautiful eyes was already too lazy to hide. "Sleep. I won't touch you anymore today," Sun Wei said helplessly. Alas! He didn't blame Ninger because his mood was not much better than Ninger's. "I'm going to bed." Lan Ninger turned around and went to sleep with her back facing Sun Wei. Sun Wei sat alone until dawn and had a sleepless night. The few people hiding in the room next to Sun Wei also had a sleepless night. However, they were different from Sun Wei. Sun Wei was so depressed that he couldn't sleep, but they were too excited to watch the commotion and had insomnia. "Hee, Big Brother Song, you're really evil. You actually tormented Sun Wei repeatedly. At this rate, I think it won't be long before he becomes impotent even if we don't drug Sun Wei anymore," a mystic sovereign said with a wretched smile, gloating. "Humph. Who asked him to provoke our miss? So what if he's from the Sun family? Well, still teach him a lesson." Song Di said nonchalantly. He had always had an unruly character. He had really never submitted to anyone except Leng Ruoxue. Sun Wei might be from the Sun family, one of the three major families, but Sun Wei was nothing in his eyes. "That's right. We have to teach him a lesson no matter who he is," another mystic sovereign echoed. "Yes, yes." The mystic sovereigns nodded in unison. Just like that, a few mystic sovereign powerhouses hid in the guest room and found small trouble for Sun Wei and Lan Ninger from time to time. In just a few days, Sun Wei and Lan Ninger became dispirited and lost a whole lot of weight. In the room, Sun Wei and Lan Ninger sat on the bed in the room with their heads lowered, thinking about something. "Ninger." Sun Wei finally spoke after a long silence. "What is it?" Lan Ninger said indifferently with a very cold attitude. "Ninger, don't be like this, okay?" Sun Wei said helplessly. Alas! He knew that Ninger had been very unhappy these few days, but he also felt uncomfortable in his heart. "Then what do you want me to do?" Lan Ninger roared furiously. Sun Wei wanted to try every day during the past few days, but it didn't work every time. In the end, she was unwilling to cooperate, so Sun Wei directly used force. This made her feel abnormally disgusted. Ninger, I'm sorry, but I really don't think it's my fault, Sun Wei explained. In fact, he had a very strong feeling every time, but he just couldn't complete it every time. It's not your problem. Could it be mine? Lan Ninger glared with her beautiful eyes and questioned very unpleasantly. This man obviously couldn't satisfy her anymore, but he always pretended to be strong. In the end, it made the two of them abnormally painful. That's not what I mean. I think someone is messing with me. Sun Wei voiced his doubts. For a few days, there was no reaction whenever he wanted to do it. When he gave up, the feeling was very strong, so he suspected that someone was scheming in the dark. Stop finding excuses. You're obviously the one who is unable to do it anymore. Lan Ninger said disdainfully. There were rumors outside that Sun Wei was impotent now, so she also believed it. And if that was the case, it was impossible for her to hang out with Sun Wei anymore. Ninger, why can't I? I'm very healthy. Don't listen to the rumors outside. Sun Wei quickly coaxed. He knew that there were many rumors that were disadvantageous to him outside now, but he had never been able to capture the person who spread those rumors, so this made him very depressed. You can. It's been a few days. Have you satisfied me even once? Sun Wei, if you can't find the reason, then there's no need for us to be together. Lan Ninger directly gave an ultimatum. Ninger, can you not be like this? You have to believe me. Someone is really messing with me. I suspect it's Leng Ruoxue and the others, Sun Wei said with certainty. Is that so? Then quickly capture that ugly freak. Lan Ninger roared. Leng Ruoxue's name was like a nightmare to her now, so she would lose her reason from anger as soon as she heard this name. Ninger, don't worry. I've been sending people to look for their whereabouts. President Wu is also sending people to look for them. Sun Wei comforted. President Wu wanted to find the whereabouts of Leng Ruoxue and the others more than him. Therefore, he sent many people to look for them, but they still found nothing. Now, President Wu had diarrhea every day, and his road was basically a little unstable. Therefore, President Wu was much worse than him. There are so many of you looking for Leng Ruoxue, and you've been looking for her for so many days. Logically speaking, Carefree City should have been searched several times already. Why haven't you found her yet? Lan Ninger asked with a face full of doubts. She really doubted if they had done their best to look for her. If they had really been looking, why hadn't they found a single strand of Leng Ruoxue and the others after so many days? Ninger, we've almost turned Carefree City upside down. We've sent people to check every inn and residence, but there's none. Alas. I don't know which rat hole they're hiding in. Sun Wei said very gloomily. He couldn't find the whereabouts of the person he wanted to find, but he couldn't find anyone. This made him very angry. Then what should we do? Are we going to continue like this? We won't be able to have peace every day if we can't find the whereabouts of Leng Ruoxue and the others. Lan Ninger was a little angry from embarrassment. Sun Wei had been experimenting non-stop these few days, provoking her every time. However, he was not responsible for watering her. She had not been satisfied for many days. This prevented her anger from accumulating and her temper from growing. Chapter 546, Sun Wei's Ending, 3, Ninger, calm down first. I know you hate Leng Ruoxue. In fact, I also want to chop her into pieces, burn her bones, and scatter her ashes. However, the prerequisite is that we have to find them. Otherwise, we can only sulk ourselves. Sun Wei stretched out his arms and hugged Lan Ninger to console her. I don't know where is Leng Ruoxue hiding. Why can't we find them? By the way, did you search the Lan family's yard? Lan Ninger suddenly asked. It was normal to let them stay in the Lan family's yard with Lan Lai's relationship with Leng Ruoxue. However, she hadn't heard that Lan Lai was also in Carefree City. Yes, They are not in the Lan family's yard, Sun Wei said helplessly. They had almost dug 3 feet into the ground in Carefree City, but they could not find the whereabouts of Leng Ruoxue and the others. Then where will they hide? Could they really burrow underground? Lan Ninger couldn't help guessing. Probably not. They're probably hiding, Sun Wei said with certainty. This conclusion was obtained after discussing with President Wu. The two of them didn't believe that Leng Ruoxue and the others had already left Carefree City because they had been fooled these few days. Are you sure they haven't left yet? Lan Ninger asked doubtfully. They definitely didn't leave. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been fooled by others. Sun Wei was very sure of his guess. So what if they didn't leave? We can't find them at all. Moreover, we're in the open, and they're hiding in the dark. They can deal with us however they want, but we can't find them at all. Lan Ninger said gloomily. This helplessness was really too unbearable. She didn't know if she would go crazy if this continued. Ninger, don't worry. Bear with it for a few more days. We will definitely find them, Sun Wei coaxed. All right. I'll give you half a month. I'll leave Carefree City if you can't find her by then. Lan Ninger said her thoughts. Are you leaving me? Sun Wei said in disbelief. Ninger was already his woman, but she still wanted to leave him. Humph. He would never allow that. What else can we do? I don't want to worry all day about someone coming to cause trouble, but we are unable to capture her, Lan Ninger said nonchalantly. Ninger, you're already my woman now, Sun Wei reminded. Humph. So what? You're so useless. I probably won't have a good life with you. It's better to leave as soon as possible. Lan Ninger said nonchalantly. In fact, she didn't like Sun Wei at all. The reason why she mixed with him was only to borrow Sun Wei's current power. Therefore, it was only right for her to leave since Sun Wei couldn't satisfy her now. Ninger, I won't let you leave me, Sun Wei said very seriously. Ninger was his, even in death. He would never allow his woman to lie under another man and beg for love. You're so useless. You can't even capture a woman, and you are impotent now. What's the point of me being with you? Lan Ninger's beautiful face was full of disdain. I said that someone is messing with me. I'm a normal man. Sun Wei roared angrily. He was abnormally angry at Lan Ninger's doubts. However, he couldn't do anything to Ninger. After all, Ninger was the woman he liked. Then quickly go and catch her. What's the use of just telling me? Lan Ninger rolled her eyes at Sun Wei and didn't pity his encounter because Sun Wei was already on the same level as useless in her eyes. Don't worry, I'll definitely capture them. I'll let you know that your man is 100 times stronger than all men. Sun Wei roared. After shouting, he abandoned Lan Ninger and left the inn angrily alone. After Sun Wei left, Song Di and the others followed him until they followed the depressed Sun Wei into a deserted forest. Sun Wei walked without feeling anything. Suddenly, his vision darkened, and then he lost consciousness. He didn't know anything. When he woke up, he found himself in an unfamiliar place. Where is this place? Sun Wei couldn't help muttering to himself. The fear in his heart gradually deepened as he looked at the white surroundings. This is hell. Ha, Sun Wei, I didn't expect this day to come for you. Zheng En's voice sounded from the empty corner. You are Zheng En. Zheng En, quickly come out. Don't pretend to be mysterious, Sun Wei shouted fearfully. Cold sweat couldn't help flowing down his forehead. Hee, do you think there's a need for a dead person to pretend? Zheng En said with a light smile, his voice abnormally cold as if it was transmitted from afar. Dead person? You're dead? No. That's impossible. Sun Wei would not believe that Zheng En really died. In his heart, Zheng En was an unkillable cockroach. Otherwise, he would not have chased Zheng En for more than a decade, but Zheng En was still alive and well. What's impossible? Didn't a huge explosion happen in your Sun family's yard? Do you think I can dodge it in my current state? Zheng Yan asked coldly. Weren't you rescued by your master? Sun Wei questioned doubtfully. I want to, but my young miss doesn't know my current situation. How can she come to save me? I died in the explosion that time, Zheng Yan explained. Then what about your master? He's a mystic supremacy. He can't be dead too, right? Sun Wei probed. Didn't you lock master up? Why are you asking me? Zheng Yan pretended to be in disbelief. He ran away. Sun Wei said gloomily. He wouldn't be so nervous if Du Min hadn't run away. He was on tenterhooks all day because he was really afraid that Du Min would seek revenge on him. Are you sure my master escaped and wasn't killed by Wu Gong? Zheng Yan asked doubtfully. Yes. He really escaped. President Wu didn't kill him. Sun Wei said honestly. He was very sure about this. Chapter 547, Sun Wei's Ending, 4, But I don't believe you because I did not see my master. However, I want to know what happened to your master, you bastard who bullies your master and destroys your ancestors. Zheng Yan scolded. He really hated Sun Wei's actions because alchemists like Sun Wei who betrayed their masters and destroyed their ancestors in this world were absolutely considered strange. I was forced to. I didn't want to, Sun Wei pretended to be pitiful. Nonsense, who forced you? It's obvious that you have ulterior motives, and you still have the cheek to quibble. Sun Wei, as a man, you have to be daring. You're not worthy of being a man at all. Zheng Yan's voice was full of disdain, and the temperature here suddenly dropped a lot just as he finished speaking. Sun Wei crossed his arms in front of his chest and couldn't speak properly. Why was it suddenly so cold? What was going on? He couldn't understand. Could Zheng Yan really be dead? That was impossible, right? He still couldn't believe it. What about you? You are a scumbag, a bastard, a scumbag who bullies his master and ancestors. You will not have a good end, Zheng Yan said disdainfully. Zheng Yan, don't pretend. Come out if you have the guts. Sun Wei gathered his courage and roared loudly. The place he was staying now was gloomy. Moreover, he could only hear Zheng Yan's voice but couldn't see him. This made the pressure in his heart very big, and the fear in his heart deepened. I said him dead. Don't you understand human language? Moreover, do you think ghosts have guts? Zheng Yan said with a light smile. Sun Wei's heart was not so good compared to his relaxed mood. Can you tell me where this is first? Sun Wei composed himself and asked. He was skeptical of Zheng Yan's words, but he didn't even know where this place was. This made the pressure in his heart increase. This is a place where only people who have done bad things will come. So you're here. Zheng Yan gloated. He felt so good seeing Sun Wei's pale face and trembling body in the dark. No. That's impossible. Aren't you here too? Sun Wei hurriedly asked in return. I'm here to seek revenge on you. You don't know, right? The Underworld Lord already knows what you did, so he's very angry at you for deceiving your masters and destroying your ancestors and framing your friends. He also agreed to let me come find you personally to seek revenge. This is probably the so-called retribution for evil. You've done too many bad things. You won't have a good life even if you go to hell. Zheng Yan said with a smile, his laughter seemed to have the joy of having avenged a great enmity. No. I didn't. I was forced. Sun Wei still wanted to quibble. Forced? Who forced you? Zheng Yan questioned coldly. He was really very disappointed with Sun Wei's true nature. He also couldn't understand why he treated Sun Wei as a lifelong friend back then. His taste was really not good. Of course it's my family. You're not me. You don't know how much pressure I'm under, Sun Wei said pitifully. Stress? Can you frame me just because you're stressed? Zheng En questioned. I don't have a choice either. If I don't do that, I won't be of any use in the family. I don't want to become an abandoned son, so I have to become the disciple of the Alchemist Association's president. That way, I will have a place in the family. Sun Wei said honestly, his face still full of fear. You did all the bad things yourself, and you actually said that your family forced you. Sun Wei, I find that your skin is really extraordinarily thick. Zheng En snorted coldly and said mockingly. Really, I had no choice either. You were my biggest rival back then. I wouldn't have had the chance if I didn't frame you. Boo-hoo. I didn't want to. I really didn't want to. Sun Wei said with a slight sob, as if he had suffered a lot. Sun Wei, don't quibble anymore. You obviously have ill intentions, but you actually said that you were forced. Are you a man or not? It's really embarrassing for a man to be like you, Zheng En said disdainfully. Of course I'm a man, but I'm not anymore. I'm even impotent now. Boo-hoo, Sun Wei even used such a reason in order to live. He thought he knew Zheng En very well, so he knew that the more he pretended to be pitiful, the greater his chance of survival. Sun Wei, you're really too shameless. Zheng En was speechless. Sun Wei was really unscrupulous in order to survive. He actually abandoned the dignity of a man. I'm telling the truth. I really am impotent. Boo-hoo, Sun Wei cried. This matter was very embarrassing, but it was better than losing his life. Sun Wei, stop pretending to be pitiful. I won't pity you, Zheng En said coldly. Sun Wei really underestimated him. Did he think he was still the overly kind man from back then? Then what do you want? I can do anything as long as you let me go, Sun Wei pleaded. He didn't want to die, boo-hoo. Tell me how you framed me back then. If you satisfy me, I might consider pleading with the Underworld Lord to let you live. Zheng En said after some thought. He had to let Sun Wei reveal the truth himself. Only then could he completely wash away his innocence. Otherwise, all the arrangements made by Miss would be in vain. Will you really let me go if I tell you? Sun Wei said uncertainly. Of course. The Dark Lord said that this is our personal grudge. He won't pursue it if I'm willing to let you go, Zheng En said very sincerely. Okay, I'll tell you. Sun Wei hesitated but still said. Tell me quickly, I'm listening. Zheng En urged. Zheng En, you are actually a very good friend. I'm sorry, Sun Wei said emotionally. Stop talking about this. I don't want to hear it. Just tell me how you framed me, Zheng En said without any emotion. Do you still remember that patient from back then? Sun Wei asked. Yes, Zheng En answered. How could he not remember? It was said that the patient died because he took the pill he refined. At the same time, it changed his fate. Chapter 548, Reward, 1. In fact, that person didn't die at all. He recovered quickly after taking the pills you refined. I gave him benefits, so he was willing to cooperate with me to frame you. Sun Wei explained. He didn't die. Then where is he now? Zheng En asked while suppressing his anger. He really didn't expect his momentary kindness to cause him an undeserved calamity. I don't know either. However, he should be living a good life now because I gave him a lot of money back then, Sun Wei said. Living a good life? Sun Wei, why didn't you kill that person to silence him? Didn't you silence many people who worked for you back then? Zheng En said in puzzlement. I wanted to kill him, but that person was very cunning. He slipped away by himself before I could do anything. I've never found his whereabouts. Sun Wei said gloomily. Alas. He wouldn't have chased Zheng En for more than a decade if that person hadn't disappeared. I didn't expect you to fail as well, Zhengyan said coldly. Yes, I didn't expect him to slip away so quickly either, Sun Wei said with slight regret. Sun Wei, you did all sorts of bad things and bullied your master and ancestors. Don't you have nightmares at night? Zhengyan asked very curiously. I didn't. I was forced. Sun Wei defended himself. Ha, Sun Wei, I've lived for so long, but this is the first time I've seen someone as thick-skinned as you, Zhengyan said disdainfully. I had no choice, Sun Wei emphasized. Sun Wei, was there any other reason why you framed me back then besides being jealous of me? Zhengyan couldn't understand. If it was just jealousy, he shouldn't have been tortured to death. No. I want to become the disciple of the president of the Alchemist Association. However, your existence is too much pressure on me, so I had no choice but to attack you. In fact, I also treat you as a friend. Sun Wei tried to move him with affection because he thought he knew Zhengyan very well. Zhengyan had always been a very kind and righteous man in his heart. Otherwise, he would not have successfully framed him back then. Sun Wei, don't insult my intelligence. You've never treated me as a friend. You approached me with a reason from the beginning, Zhengyan said very coldly. He really didn't expect Sun Wei to still want to use his kindness now. Alas! Did Sun Wei really think he was still the Zhengyan from back then? I'm telling the truth. Sun Wei's attitude was abnormally sincere. Sun Wei, no one will believe you anymore, including your master, Zhengyan reminded kindly. Master? Where is my master? I want to see my master. Sun Wei heard the word master as if he had grabbed onto a life-saving straw. Sun Wei, don't waste your energy. Your master doesn't want to see you. Zhengyan looked at the middle-aged man beside him and said honestly. No, no. Master won't treat me like this. Sun Wei didn't believe that his master, who had always loved him, would not recognize him. You don't even acknowledge your master anymore. It's only right for your master to treat you like this, Zhengyan reminded. I was forced. I was really forced. Master, believe me, save me. I don't want to die. Sun Wei shouted crazily, but he didn't receive any response. Even Zhengyan's voice disappeared. In the forest. Leng Ruoxua looked at the dozens of old men with different expressions around her. These old men were the elders of the Alchemist Association who were once locked up by Sun Wei. Sun Wei's master, Renli, was naturally among them. Now that you know the truth, do you have anything to say? Leng Ruoxua raised her eyebrows and asked coldly. She wouldn't care about the lives of these old men at all if it weren't for the sake of justice for Zhengyan. An elder wanted to say something, but he didn't know how to say it. What? So? Is returning justice to my subordinates making things difficult for you? In that case, there's no need for you to live anymore. Leng Ruoxua said very ruthlessly. You can't kill us. We are respected alchemists, another elder said in disbelief. Respected alchemists? Ha, this is too funny. In my eyes, you are just stray dogs. Since I saved you but you can't be used by me, then there's no point in you living. I don't raise idle people. Transcend as early as possible. Leng Ruoxua said with a light smile. Swear, they won't be able to reincarnate even if they die, the freak said gloatingly. That's true. It'll keep their souls for refining pills. It's said that in ancient times, there was a pill that required souls to refine, Leng Ruoxua said lightly. Lass, you know that too? The little old man said in surprise. Yes, Grandpa do you know that too? Leng Ruoxua asked in return. Ha, lass, I also read about it in an ancient book. I heard that pills with souls added could be nurtured into pill spirits, the little old man said with great interest. Grandpa do, let's refine a pill spirit after we find all the herbs. It will save us a lot of trouble with the pill spirit. Leng Ruoxua suggested. Her beautiful eyes kept circling the dozens of elders as if she was looking for a suitable soul. Leng Ruoxu's conversation with the little old man made the hair on the bodies of the elders present stand on end. Boo-hoo. This woman was really too ruthless. They didn't want to be refined into pill spirits. Okay. Hee, I'm afraid only you can refine an alchemist's spirit. Well, my good disciple also has a chance, the little old man said with envy. The conditions for refining an alchemist's spirit were very stringent. Apart from having a soul, the requirements for alchemists' flames were also very high. There was no way to refine a soul unless it was a divine flame. Yes, there are so many souls. If we find enough herbs, we should be able to refine many pill spirits. Grandpa Do, I'll give each of you one then, Leng Ruoxue said very generously. Hee, lass, I'll wait for you to say that. Leave the soul extraction to me. I know how to do it, the little old man volunteered. Humph. These elders really didn't care about face. They actually dared to put on airs at a time like this. The lass would not tolerate them. Chapter 549, Reward, 2, Okay, Grandpa Do, then I'll have to trouble you to deal with these people first. They occupy too much space. Leng Ruoxue said very disdainfully. Humph. She wouldn't have saved them if she knew they were so stubborn. Okay, no problem. Leave it to me, the little old man replied. Then he raised a hand above his head and prepared to attack. Wait. Leng Ruoxue suddenly stopped the little old man before he could do anything. Lass, don't be soft-hearted. Some people are not worth it, the little old man advised. Grandpa Do, you're mistaken. I want them to pay for the rooms and meals over the past few days. I'm not obligated to raise them for nothing, Leng Ruoxue explained with a smile. After saving these people, she hid them in the guest room she booked for Carefree Hall, so she paid for their meals and lodging these few days. Yes, that makes sense. Return the money you owe the girl first, and then I'll deal with you. The little old man nodded and ordered the dozens of elders with very ugly expressions. Your Excellency Du Min, your status in the Alchemist Association is extraordinary. How can you help outsiders bully us? An elder questioned with slight dissatisfaction. In fact, he didn't think Du Min would really kill them, so he was fearless. Outsiders? To me, you are the outsiders, the little old man said emotionlessly, despising these elders who still couldn't see the situation clearly. Your Excellency Du Min, everything is negotiable. It's really a little difficult for us to seek justice for Zheng En now, another elder mediated. What do you mean? The little old man narrowed his eyes and asked lightly. Your Excellency Du Min, you should be aware of the situation in the headquarters. We are also being investigated by the headquarters now, so we have no way to clear Zheng En's name, the elder explained with a troubled expression. Yes. The other elders quickly echoed. Do you mean that you want us to help you snatch back the Alchemist Association headquarters? Leng Ruoxue asked with a light smile, her beautiful face full of realization. Humph. These old foxes finally revealed their fox tails. If you are willing to help, we will immediately clear Zheng En's name after we obtain control of the headquarters, the elder said hurriedly. He might not have interacted with Leng Ruoxue for long, but he was very impressed with Leng Ruoxue's methods. You're negotiating with me. Leng Ruoxue said indifferently, no joy or anger on her beautiful face. Ah. We just hope that Miss Leng can help, the elder said very sincerely. No. We don't care even if you can't clear Zheng En's name. Anyway, the Alchemist Association has been laid to waste. Isn't it not so important to clear her name? Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Humph. The person who could threaten her hadn't been born yet. How could she be threatened by a few disheveled old men? The elders were stunned. None of them expected Leng Ruoxue to refuse so directly. This was a little unexpected and also made them not mentally prepared because this was far from what they had originally imagined. The reason why they didn't immediately agree to return Zheng En's innocence was also because they hoped to hold the initiative in the negotiation. However, Leng Ruoxua actually didn't play according to the rules. Miss Leng, what should we do to make you willing to help us? Another elder couldn't help asking. Sun Wei was in Leng Ruoxua's hands, and they couldn't take back the authority of the headquarters with their strength, so they really needed Leng Ruoxua's help. It's impossible for me to help you, but you can pay me. I can help you if the remuneration is satisfactory. Leng Ruoxua said with a light smile. In fact, she had decided to ruthlessly kill them since she sent people to save these old men. Who asked them to actually dare to bully her people? Humph. Then how much do you want, Miss Leng? An elder asked while enduring the pain. Not much. I just want 2/3 of your headquarters' assets, Leng Ruoxua said very kindly. Cold sweat broke out on the foreheads of the elders, and their hearts fluttered. Wasn't 2/3 more than that? One had to know that it was the wealth accumulated by the Alchemist Association for thousands of years. 2/3 of it was gone in an instant by her exorbitant demand. It was really too despicable. What? You can't bear to? Then forget it. Leng Ruoxua shrugged her shoulders nonchalantly. Miss Leng, can we discuss it? An elder asked. Okay, discuss it nicely. However, my patience is limited, Leng Ruoxua warned, implying that she would not wait for them for long. Okay, the elders replied. Then they walked to another corner and discussed it. Miss, will they agree? Zheng En asked curiously. Just as Miss said, it was no longer important if the Alchemist Association did not clear his name because Sun Wei had already said it himself, and many people had already heard it. This was enough for him. Yes, Leng Ruoxua said with certainty. Little Snowy, you're ruthless. Lan Ming said with admiration. Boo-hoo. He realized that the price Little Snowy offered him was already considered very cheap. We have to attack when the time comes. Who asked them to care so much about the Alchemist Association? Leng Ruoxua said with a smile. Those who dared to bully her and dared to threaten her had to pay the price. Miss, what should we do with Sun Wei? Zheng En suddenly asked. Do you want to kill him? Leng Ruoxua asked in return. Sun Wei was now in an illusion that she got confounded to set up. That illusion had a huge impact on people's hearts and would cause them to hallucinate. That was why Sun Wei thought he was really in hell, and fear had already taken root in his heart. No, I don't want to dirty my hands. Zheng En thought for a while and said. In fact, he really wanted to kill Sun Wei with his own hands previously, but now he felt that there was no need because Sun Wei's spirit in the illusion had already been greatly stimulated. There was no sense of accomplishment even if he killed Sun Wei now. Chapter 550, Reward, 3, Then hand him to confound. Leng Ruoxua signaled the little white snake wrapped around her wrist to get rid of Sun Wei after speaking. The little white snake understood and quietly slid down Leng Ruoxua's wrist, crawling toward the illusion it had set up. Half an hour later. The elders of the Alchemist Association returned to Leng Ruoxua and the others. Miss Leng, we've already discussed it. If you can help us take back control of the Alchemist Association, we are willing to pay 2/3 of our assets as remuneration, an elder said as a representative. Even though 2/3 of their assets made them feel pain, it was better than losing the Alchemist Association. Those who know the truth are outstanding. Your decision is wise, Leng Ruoxua praised. I wonder when will Miss Leng be able to help us take back the Alchemist Association headquarters, the elder continued asking. Anytime if you're not afraid of Wu Gong finding trouble with you, Leng Ruoxua replied with a light smile. Ah. The elder was a little depressed because they were not sure if Wu Gong would cause trouble for them now. However, they wanted to take back the headquarters quickly. Boo-hoo. How conflicted. You have to think carefully. Leng Ruoxua reminded. Miss Leng, we've decided to take back the headquarters as soon as possible. The elders exchanged glances before an elder spoke. Okay, but I can only cooperate with you in the dark. The main force to snatch back the Alchemist Association is you. Leng Ruoxue said. Okay. The elders nodded. Wugong's problem was not resolved. They couldn't ask Leng Ruoxue to help openly. They didn't want to be Wugong's first target. Then plan carefully. Tell me if you need my cooperation. By the way, don't forget to pay for the room and food. Leng Ruoxue said in a good mood. Ah. The elders were collectively speechless. They had already paid 2/3 of the Alchemist Association's assets as remuneration. Why did Leng Ruoxue still remember the small money for rooms and meals? Sun Weiss matter has been resolved. Let's return to the inn quickly. Leng Ruoxue pulled the freak directly out of this uninhabited forest, Zheng En and the others following closely behind. Leng Ruoxue and the others walked directly into the living room after returning to the carefree pavilion. After sitting in the chair, Leng Ruoxue looked around at everyone in the hall and said, Song Di, you did well. Thank you for the compliment, Mississippi. Is there anything else you need us to do? Song Di asked expectantly. Their mission was relatively easier because Sun Wei was too weak and there were no powerful experts around him. Have you dealt with Sun Wei's subordinates? Leng Ruoxue asked. It's been settled, Song Di reported. Oh, then go and help those elders from the Alchemist Association. Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Miss, the people from the Alchemist Association headquarters are not strong. They don't need so many of us. Song Di said carefully. In fact, he wanted to help Big Brother Cheng and the others deal with Wugong, but he didn't know if Miss would agree. Then go and help Cheng Wu. The others will help those elders, Leng Ruoxue said understandingly. Miss, we also want to, a mystic sovereign said with some difficulty. He stopped mid-sentence. Go to Cheng Wu after you're done with the Alchemist Association's matters, Leng Ruoxue said. She knew very well what these subordinates were thinking. She couldn't dampen their spirits since they were so enthusiastic. Yes, Mississippi. Well, go find those elders now. The mystic sovereign stood up and left the living room impatiently. Song Di, go too. Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. Alas. When did these people become impatient? Yes, miss, Song Di quickly answered, stood up, and left the living room. Ha, lass, your subordinates are quite proactive in their work, the little old man said with a face full of envy. If the elders of the Alchemist Association headquarters were like these people, the Alchemist Association would not have become like this. Grandpa Du, I caused the Alchemist Association to bleed profusely. You won't blame me, right? Leng Ruoxue asked calmly. No, no. Hee, it's better than letting those assets enter your pocket than letting those ingrates benefit. Moreover, didn't you leave 1/3 of it for them? It's enough for them to rebuild the headquarters, the little old man said very generously. It was very easy for alchemists to earn money, so he had never taken those worldly possessions seriously. Hee, it's good that Grandpa Du doesn't blame me. It's getting late. Let's rest early. Leng Ruoxue said as she looked at the sky. Okay. Everyone nodded and then returned to their rooms to rest. Leng Ruoxue and the freak entered the bracelet directly after returning to their room. Schwer, will the matter of the Alchemist Association be resolved tomorrow? Empty, who was waiting for them on the stone chair in front of the purple bamboo hut, asked. Ha, that will depend on the abilities of those elders. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Aren't you going to help them think of some way? Empty asked curiously. Not only are those old men stubborn, but they also want to play mind games with me. I don't care. However, I've already sent a few mystic sovereigns to help them. As for when I can regain control of the Alchemist Association, it's not up to me to decide, Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Schwer, don't you want to receive the money early? Empty asked with a smile, his smiling black eyes full of teasing. I'm not in a hurry. Anyway, Wugong's matter isn't over yet. If those old men dare to renege on their debts, I'll send someone to inform Wugong. Wugong will be happy to cause trouble for them if he can't find us. Leng Ruoxua smiled evilly. However, she was very confident that those self-righteous old men would not dare to renege on their debts. Swear, you're so bad. Ha! Empty said happily. Those stubborn old men from the Alchemist Association were unlucky to have encountered Swear. I respect people tenfold if they respect me. Those old men are not sincere at all. I saved them, but they still play mind games with me. Will I still be Leng Ruoxua if I don't teach them a lesson? Leng Ruoxua said nonchalantly. She had to take revenge for her enmity. Whoever provoked her would not have a good life. Chapter 551, A Good Thing That Fell from the Sky. 1. Those old men have been in high positions for many years, so they naturally won't take others seriously. They deserved it. Empty gloated. Empty, what should we do with the people from the Mystic Association? Leng Ruoxua suddenly asked when she saw that nothing was wrong. Ah. Swear, this is your business. Why are you asking me? You can decide for yourself. Empty said. Really? Then I've decided to destroy the Mystic Association headquarters. Leng Ruoxua said a little ruthlessly. What she meant by destroying was that there would be no Mystic Association headquarters on the boundless heaven continent in the future. She didn't believe that Empty wouldn't feel heartache. Ah. Swear, there's no need to do that, right? There might be black sheep in the Mystic Association headquarters, but that was only done by some people after all. If we destroy the Mystic Association headquarters, then there won't be any place to transmute spiritual power in the future, Empty advised. Alas. He didn't want to see the Mystic Association headquarters disappear from the boundless heaven continent. There's nothing we can do. The Mystic Association has been under Wugong's control for many years. The president is in seclusion. If Wugong dies, won't the Mystic Association be leaderless? Leng Ruoxua said helplessly. In fact, I think you can take over the Mystic Association headquarters, Empty suggested. He could be at ease if Swear took over the Mystic Association headquarters. I don't want to. You know I'm most afraid of trouble. Leng Ruoxua hurriedly refused. She had a headache even in Myriad Mountain City. She would definitely go crazy if she took over the Mystic Association headquarters. But I think you're the most suitable candidate, Empty said with a light smile. Aren't you thinking too much? Wugong isn't dead yet, and the Mystic Association is still under his control. The freak who had been listening to their conversation rolled his eyes and said speechlessly. This is called preparing for a rainy day. Leng Ruoxua said with a light smile, her beautiful face full of calculations. Yes, the fate of the Mystic Association headquarters is destined. Therefore, we have to think about it first. After all, this concerns the numerous mystics on the boundless heaven continent. Empty echoed. The effects on the mystics would be inestimable without the Mystic Association headquarters. Therefore, he had to think of a way to minimize this effect. It's not too late to think about it after Wugong dies. If there's really no other way, let Lan Ming manage the Mystic Association headquarters for the time being. Don't forget that his master is the president of the Mystic Association headquarters, the freak reminded. Lan Ming. His strength is too low. I'm afraid it will be difficult to convince everyone. Empty frowned and said after some thought. Destroy everyone who isn't convinced. Let's see who still dares to say anything, the freak suggested. Ah. You're ruthless enough, but what you said makes sense. Empty said after some thought. Then let Lan Ming take over the mess in the Mystic Association after Wugong dies. Leng Ruoxua gloated. Little Lan Lan would be troublesome in the future. She didn't care who took over as long as she didn't have to care. Poor little Lon Lon, your fate has been decided by the three of you irresponsible fellows just like that. Alas. Icy, which had been sleeping on the stone table, opened its ice blue eyes and said with slight sympathy. Little Icy, sleep on your own. Don't eavesdrop. Leng Ruoxue picked up Icy and covered its little ears with her hand. Little Snowy, I don't need to eavesdrop. I'm listening openly, Icy said nonchalantly. Then don't listen openly. Hurry up and sleep. Leng Ruoxue urged. Oh, right, little Snowy, you don't need my help to deal with Wu Gong. Icy asked, its beautiful ice blue eyes full of interest. Help? Wouldn't you help him if you wiped him out with a sneeze? Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. She didn't intend to let Wu Gong live. Where could she find him if Icy sneezed? Hee, I don't have to sneeze, Icy said with a naughty smile. Boo-hoo. Little Snowy wouldn't think that it only knew how to sneeze. It was looking down on it too much. Master, leave Wu Gong to me. The transmogrified Feng Zhan flew over and landed on Leng Ruoxue's shoulder. You're only a level 2 transcendent divine beast. Wu Gong is a mystic supremacy. Can you beat him? Icy said with slight disdain. Humph. Damn stinky bird, how dare you snatch food from its mouth. It seemed like it had beaten too little. It had to teach this bird a lesson when it had time. TCH, I might only be a level 2 transcendent divine beast and might not be as strong as that long-legged Wu Gong, but I have many subordinates. I don't believe that we can't burn that Wu Gong to death with every bird and flame. Feng Zhan said confidently. Humph. Those stinky dragons wouldn't dare to provoke them if they attacked in groups. Icy's forehead was full of black lines. Boo-hoo. It was not a match for these stinky birds in a group battle. Alas. It was good to have many beasts. Poor lonely person. Schwer, I realize that your beasts are even more ruthless. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Boundless' forehead. Alas. Not to mention Wu Gong, even he couldn't stand the southern spirit flame of the Fire Phoenix clan. And each bird had a mouthful of southern spirit flame. Then Wu Gong probably wouldn't even have ashes left. He felt some pity for Wu Gong now. Hee, of course. Their masters are too weak. Leng Ruoxue's beautiful face was full of pride. Your strength is low. You're already a mystic monarch. A mystic monarch can also be considered a powerhouse on the boundless heaven continent, Empty said speechlessly. But aren't there many mystic sovereigns and mystic supremacies? Therefore, mystic monarchs are nothing. Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Master, I want to beat up that Wu Gong too. Charm jumped into Leng Ruoxue's arms and acted coquettishly. Charm wants to be beaten up too. Who else wants to be beaten up? Leng Ruoxue asked as more beasts gathered around her. Me. The beasts all rushed to speak. Hee, they might not be as strong as Wu Gong, but they had to participate. They had to help their master no matter what if Wu Gong bullied her. I want to participate too, can I? The honest big hairy scratched its head shyly. It had been living with these beasts since old man Zhao went into seclusion. Therefore, it also treated itself as one of them under the influence of the beasts, even though it was not Leng Ruoxue's beast. Chapter 552, A Good Thing Falling from the Sky, 2, I want to too, the little peacock said. It might be Feng Zhan's subordinate, but Leng Ruoxue didn't contract with it, so it didn't know what its current identity should be. Fortunately, its boss master would use it sometimes, so it felt that it was still useful. All of you. But you can't all go out. Otherwise, it will scare others, Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. Alas. If others knew that she actually contracted so many beasts, wouldn't they treat her as a monster? Beloved master, let your darling train. Darling's beautiful silver eyes looked at Leng Ruoxue with watery eyes and pleaded. Master, you can't abandon Dazzle. The little black fox jumped into Leng Ruoxiu's arms and rubbed against her non-stop while acting coquettishly. Master. Ling didn't say anything and just looked at Leng Ruoxiu with its bright black eyes without blinking. Its eyes seemed to say, Master, bring me along. Leng Ruoxiu was helpless. Alas. This was the difficulty of having too many beasts. Both the palms and the backs of the hands were meat, bringing anyone or not would make things difficult for her. And if a beast was sad because of this, she would not feel good either. She was conflicted. Ha, Shuer, it's really not easy to see your conflicted expression. Empty said with a smile. The Leng Ruoxiu in his eyes had always been confident, but now she revealed such a conflicted expression. This was really too rare. Stop gloating. Hurry, think of a way for me. Leng Ruoxiu's beautiful eyes glared fiercely at Empty, her beautiful face full of displeasure. That's simple. Ask Ling to cast an invisibility spell on them as long as they don't show themselves, Empty said with a light smile. Ling, can you do it? Leng Ruoxiu asked worriedly. She was afraid that Ling's body would not be able to withstand using an invisibility spell on so many beasts. There should be no problem as long as Master's pills replenish its mystic energy, Ling said after some thought. Well, this was also a huge test for it. Ling, just do what you can. Don't show off if you really don't have a choice. Leng Ruoxiu reminded. Okay. Ling nodded in response. All right, it's settled for the time being. Everyone, go back and rest. Leng Ruoxiu said. Then she pulled the freak back to the purple bamboo hut. The next day. Leng Ruoxiu brought the freak out of the bracelet and returned to their room in the inn. Someone knocked on the door. The freak opened the door and saw the old man standing at the door. He frowned and said, Elder Lien, what's the matter? It's like this. We've already discussed a strategy to meet with Miss Leng. Elder Lien braced himself. This man didn't seem to be too friendly to him. Alas. He was definitely ranked at the top among the elders of the Alchemist Association. Moreover, his words were very weighty, but it was completely ineffective against Leng Ruoxiu. This couldn't help making him feel helpless. There's no need. It's good that you've thought about it. Moreover, didn't Shuer already get someone to help you? The freak blocked the way directly. He didn't have a good impression of these old men. These old men actually dared to plot against Shuer. They really didn't know how to write the word death. All right then. Elder Lien had no choice but to turn around and leave with a wry smile. The freak closed the door with a bang when he saw Elder Lien leave, and then he returned to the inner room. Freak, who is it? Leng Ruoxiu asked curiously. However, she was more surprised that the freak didn't let that person enter the house. It's Elder Lien from the Alchemist Association, but he was sent away by me, the freak explained lightly. Oh, what's the matter with him? Leng Ruoxiu asked. It's okay. He said that they had already discussed a countermeasure and wanted to meet you. I said that there was no need. Let them decide for themselves. Then he left, the freak said innocently. Oh. Leng Ruoxiu nodded with a light smile, not planning to expose him. Shuer, where are we going later? The freak asked curiously. He didn't know what Shuer would do since he woke up so early today. Freak, let's take a walk around Carefree City. Leng Ruoxiu suggested after some thought. They had been staying in the inn most of the time since they came to Carefree City for a few days, and they hadn't had a good tour the last time. Okay. The freak didn't care what he was doing as long as he could be with Shuer. After speaking, Leng Ruoxiu and the freak exited the room and arrived on the streets of Carefree City. At this moment, there were not many pedestrians on the streets of Carefree City because too many things had happened recently. Moreover, many people didn't dare to wander the streets at all. It was said that the vice president of the Mystic Association, Gong, had gone crazy. He would send people to capture and interrogate anyone suspicious on the streets. This made the atmosphere in Carefree City even more tense. The two of them walked on the streets and unknowingly arrived outside Wugong's temporary residence. Leng Ruoxue and the freak's eyes met as they looked at the slightly shabby yard wall. They looked at each other and smiled. Then they took out a few explosive balls from their rings and buried them in the corner outside the yard wall. Ling, help us turn invisible. Leng Ruoxue summoned Ling and ordered while no one was around. Yes, master, Ling answered and cast an invisibility spell for the two of them. Ling, do you know where Cheng Wu and the others are hiding? Leng Ruoxue asked softly. Ling had been following Cheng Wu and the others for a while and had only been summoned back 2 days ago. Yes, I know, Ling replied and led the way, leading Leng Ruoxue and the freak to the empty room where Cheng Wu was hiding. Miss, why are you here? Cheng Wu and the others were discussing their next step in the room. They hurriedly stood up and asked in puzzlement when they saw Leng Ruoxue and the freak. We came out for a walk, Leng Ruoxue explained. Oh, miss, we're driving Wugong crazy. Hee hee. Cheng Wu said proudly. He had never known that teasing others could be so enjoyable. Chapter 553, A Good Thing Falling from the Sky, 3, Be Careful. I'm afraid hell be driven into a corner. Leng Ruoxue reminded them worriedly. Miss, don't worry. We already have a plan, Cheng Wu said with a smile, his resolute face full of mystery. Oh, what plan? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. She had not participated in Cheng Wu and the others' plans since she started for them. Hee hee, she was also training Cheng Wu and the others' adaptability. After all, she didn't want her subordinates to not know how to use their brains and only know how to carry out dead orders. Miss, Wugong has many mystic sovereigns by his side, so we decided to attack those mystic sovereigns first. Well, cut off Wugong's claws and let him search every house by himself, hee hee. Cheng Wu said with a naughty smile. Ha, others capture the leader first to capture the bandits, but you're doing the opposite. Not bad. Leng Ruoxue nodded with satisfaction and praised. Hee hee, Miss taught me well. Cheng Wu flattered. Stop flattering me. By the way, I forgot to tell you that I placed a small gift from this mansion just now, so you probably have to find another place to hide. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Ah. Miss, you're really too evil. Wugong finally calmed down. Now he has to find a new place. Cheng Wu said with pity. Alas. Why was Wugong so unlucky to have provoked his young miss? Yes, of course. Pack up and prepare to leave. Leng Ruoxue said without any sympathy. Okay, let's leave this place immediately. Cheng Wu said fearfully. Boo-hoo. Miss little gifts were not to be trifled with. They would kill. By the way, have you seen Mrs. Sun recently? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. She had long heard of the famous Mrs. Sun, but she had never had the chance to meet her. Alas. What a pity. No. I heard that Madame Sun left Carefree City after the big explosion at the Mystic Association headquarters, Cheng Wu said. That woman is quite heartless. Wugong encountered such an unlucky thing, and she actually left alone. Leng Ruoxue sighed. Alas. Was this the so-called flying off on their own when disaster struck? If she doesn't leave, do you think she can count on her and Wugong to go through thick and thin together? She's a married woman. She's already made a huge cuckold of the Sun family's deputy patriarch. If she continues to advance with Wugong, then there's no need for her to be the madam of the Sun family. Cheng Wu said disdainfully. Humph. He had never had a good impression of such a promiscuous woman. However, what surprised him was the attitude of the deputy patriarch of the Sun family. He didn't believe that the man knew nothing about this, so he really couldn't understand the man's thoughts. Yes, that makes sense. However, men's thoughts are really strange. Leng Ruoxue looked at the freak, then at Cheng Wu and the others and sighed with emotion. Schwer, why are you looking at me? I'm not such a useless man. The freak protested. Humph. He would never let that man go if any man dared to touch his Schwer. Miss, I'm not either. Cheng Wu said fearfully. Boo-hoo. Miss Gaze was really too. Ha, quickly leave this place. It will explode later. Leng Ruoxue couldn't help laughing happily seeing the depressed expressions of the freak and the others. Okay. Everyone nodded. Freak, let's go back to the inn. Leng Ruoxue turned to the freak. Okay. The freak nodded. Cheng Wu, tell me in advance if there's anything you need my help with, Leng Ruoxue said and left with the freak. Not long after Leng Ruoxue and the freak left, the mansion exploded. Wu Gong and his subordinates, who were not mentally prepared, suffered varying degrees of injuries. Fortunately, no casualties occurred. Wu Gong almost fainted from anger as he looked at the ruins in front of him. He gritted his teeth, looked at his subordinates, and ordered furiously, seal the city gate immediately and continue the carpet search. Don't even let out a fly. Yes, the subordinates said as they endured the pain. However, they had varying degrees of resentment for Wu Gong in their hearts. Humph. Would they have been treated like this if Wu Gong hadn't offended someone? Moreover, Wu Gong, as a mystic supremacy, couldn't do anything to a mere elementary mystic. This didn't prevent them from doubting Wu Gong's ability. Then why aren't you going? What are you waiting for? Wu Gong roared. President, what will happen to you if we go? A subordinate asked bravely. Now that they were all injured and didn't have a place to stay, he felt that they should find a place to stay first and search for Leng Ruoxue and the others. Don't worry about me. Hurry up and find someone for me, Wu Gong roared. Yes. The subordinates had no choice but to bite the bullet and search. In the corner. Cheng Wu and the others were hiding in the dark, watching Wu Gong and the others. Big brother Cheng, do you think Wu Gong's subordinates will listen to him? He Zi asked curiously. Of course not. Didn't you notice? They don't trust Wu Gong anymore. Hee, if I'm not mistaken, they will definitely obey but disobey in secret. Cheng Wu said understandingly. This Wu Gong really failed as a person. Alas. If he was half as good as his young miss, he probably wouldn't have been deserted. Obviously, Wu Gong was not far away. Big brother Cheng, should we watch Wu Gong or his subordinates? Song Di couldn't help asking. Go deal with his subordinates. I'll watch over Wu Gong. Cheng Wu said after some thought. Okay, be careful. Song Di nodded. Then he led his men and quietly followed Wu Gong's group. Leng Ruoxue and the freak went directly to the living room after returning to the carefree pavilion. Lan Ming, Zheng En, and the little old man were sitting in the living room chatting. After seeing Leng Ruoxue and the freak, the little old man asked curiously, Lass, where did you go? I went out for a walk, Leng Ruoxue replied. Then she found a chair with the freak and sat down. Chapter 554, A Good Thing That Fell from the Sky. 4, Miss, I saw Lan Ninger leave Carefree City when I went out just now. Zheng En said. Oh, so be it. Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. She wanted to kill Lan Ninger, but she couldn't say this in front of Lan Ming. After all, Lan Ninger was a member of the Lan family no matter how bad she was. Little Snowy, I think Lan Ninger won't dare to return to the Lan family anymore, Lan Ming guessed. That might not be the case. Don't underestimate Lan Ninger's thick skin. Leng Ruoxue said in realization. But with what she did, she won't have a good life even if she returns to the Lan family, Lan Ming said understandingly. Super families like the Lan family were very prideful, so Lan Ninger would not have any status in the Lan family anymore. Little Lan, I don't care how your Lan family will treat her. I just hope she doesn't provoke me. Otherwise, I won't let her go again. Leng Ruoxue warned. Humph. She could let Lan Ning'er go this time on account of the Lan family. However, if Lan Ning'er didn't repent, then don't blame her for being rude. Little Snowy, if you want to get rid of her, you better do it secretly. Otherwise, some old fellows from the Lan family will definitely not ignore it, Lan Ming reminded. Yes, I will. Leng Ruoxua nodded very seriously. Hee, little Snowy, what's the next step? Lan Ming asked very curiously. I don't know. I don't have any plans. Leng Ruoxua shrugged innocently. Little Snowy, don't be like this. Tell me. Lan Ming pleaded with a bitter face. Really not. I've handed everything to Cheng Wu and the others to handle now. I'm just leaving everything to them, Leng Ruoxua said with a smile, her beautiful face full of pride. Little Snowy, why didn't you let me participate then? Lan Ming asked in puzzlement. Boo-hoo. Little Snowy's plans were all hidden from him. It felt very uncomfortable not letting him know. Your strength is too low and your IQ is low, so you can only be an audience. Leng Ruoxua looked at Lan Ming carefully for a while and then said very cautiously. I admit that I'm weak, but how is my IQ low? Boo-hoo, Lan Ming's handsome face was full of grievance. Little Snowy said that he was weak, but did it mean that he was stupid? He was so depressed. Weak in every way. Leng Ruoxua glared at Lan Ming and said without giving him any face. Ah. Lan Ming was conflicted, so depressed that he wanted to scratch the wall. Little Snowy was really too evil. Hee. Zheng En and the little old man couldn't help covering their mouths and laughing secretly when they heard Leng Ruoxia's words. You're still laughing? How inhumane. Lan Ming looked at the two secretly happy people and complained. Hee, little Lan president, our miss is the head of the family. You just have to listen to whatever miss says. Don't refute her. Otherwise, you will be the unlucky one. Zheng En reminded very kindly. Boo-hoo. I know you all belong to the same country and only know how to bully me. Lan Ming felt wronged, very wronged. Alright, stop pretending. Little Lan, prepare to take over the Mystic Association headquarters. Leng Ruoxia's words were like a bomb, blasting Lan Ming's mind into a blank. After speaking, Leng Ruoxua dragged the freak out of the living room very irresponsibly. After a long while, Lan Ming's consciousness slowly recovered. He looked at Zheng En and the little old man in the living room and couldn't help asking, what did little Snowy say just now? Miss said to prepare you to take over the Mystic Association headquarters. Zheng En said. He approved of Miss' words very much now. Lan Ming's intelligence was indeed a little weak. Moreover, his tolerance was very low. Why? I'm just a mystic monarch. I can't, Lan Ming said reluctantly with a bitter face. If Miss says you can, then you can. Don't refute. Otherwise, Miss will be angry. And once Miss is angry, you will be in trouble. Zheng En threatened. Lan Ming was depressed again. He was even more depressed than when Leng Ruoxua said that he was mentally weak. Boo-hoo. He could reluctantly accept being the president of the branch. However, he was not mentally prepared now if he were to manage the headquarters. Moreover, he did not think that the elders in the headquarters would submit to him. After all, where was his strength? Brat Lan, I think this girl's idea is good. Your master is the president of the Mystic Association headquarters. As his disciple, it's only logical for you to take over the headquarters, the little old man explained. I know. Lan Ming nodded helplessly. Then why are you complaining like a little wife? Hurry up and go back to your room to wash up and prepare to take over the Mystic Association headquarters. You have to know that this is a good thing that fell from the sky. No one can ask for it. Zheng En said with envy. Boo-hoo. The pie is too big. I can't eat it now. Zheng En. If you're envious, why don't I give you this opportunity? Lan Ming hurriedly said. The current him wanted to throw this hot potato out even more. How can that do? Your master is the president of the Mystic Association headquarters. What will happen if I take over the headquarters? Zheng En refused. He didn't want that big package. It's okay. I'll explain to master after he comes out of seclusion, Lan Ming advised stubbornly. That won't do either. I won't take over. Mystics is only my second profession. I mainly work as an alchemist. If I take over the Mystic Association headquarters, I will be neglecting my main profession, Zheng En said evasively. What if your master agrees? Lan Ming looked at the little old man expectantly. My master won't agree. Zheng En said very confidently. His master wanted him to take over the Alchemist Association, but he refused, let alone the Mystic Association. Yes, I won't agree. Otherwise, the Alchemist Association headquarters would have been his long ago. The little old man said very cooperatively with his disciple. If, Lan Ming wanted to continue persuading but was interrupted by Zheng En. President Little Lan, don't have any ideas about me. I want to wander around with Mississippi. It's impossible for me to stay in the same place. Zheng En said bluntly. Chapter 555, A Good Thing That Fell from the Sky. 5, You're still leaving? Lan Ming asked with some displeasure in his heart. Boo-hoo. Was he going to be abandoned again? These baddies. Of course. Miss said that we will go for training after the incident in Carefree City, Zheng En said. Miss and the others wanted to improve their strength as soon as possible, and training was the best way to improve their strength. What about Myriad Mountain City? Lan Ming couldn't help asking. Aren't there Cheng Wu and the others? Myriad Mountain City will depend on them in the future, Zheng En explained. His feelings for Miss had already risen to a new height since Cheng Wu and the others told him about Myriad Mountain City. Zheng En, do you really intend to go for training after settling the matter here? Lan Ming confirmed with a long face. Of course. President Little Lan, do you think I'm joking with you? Zheng En asked helplessly. Alas. Lan Ming didn't have to put on such a dead look when he heard that they were leaving. People who didn't know the truth would think that they had abandoned Lan Ming. No, I'm just not mentally prepared, Lan Ming said uncomfortably. A feeling of being abandoned slowly emerged in his heart. President Little Lan, Miss said that there is no such thing as a banquet that will never end, so don't be too sad. Be good. Zheng En coaxed patiently. Alas. I'm going back to my room first. Lan Ming sighed, then stood up and said lightly. He needed to be alone for a good time. Master, could he be suicidal? Zheng En couldn't help asking as he looked at Lan Ming's slightly lost back. Hard to say, the little old man gloated. Ah. Master, why do you seem so happy? Zheng En's forehead was full of black lines. Because I'm experienced and understand his feelings, so I'm very happy whenever I see someone struggling like I did back then, the little old man explained. Master, what's with your heart? Zheng En was speechless. Alas. He had always thought his master was a serious person. He only knew today that he was wrong. To gloat. The little old man said with a smile. Then he stood up and left the living room. Zheng En saw that he was alone in the huge living room, so he dusted his butt and left. The next day. In the living room. Leng Ruoxue sat in a chair and looked at the elders of the Alchemist Association, whose faces were full of smiles and excitement, and said lightly, Has everyone's matter been settled? Thanks to Miss Leng's subordinate's help, the matter has been settled. Elder Lien said on behalf of the elders. He really didn't expect Leng Ruoxue's subordinates to be so efficient. This really surprised him. In that case, can you pay me? Leng Ruoxue reminded. This was what she was most concerned about. Of course, Miss Leng. This is 2/3 of the wealth accumulated by our alchemist association for thousands of years. Please take it. Elder Lien handed Leng Ruoxue a storage ring and said with a pained expression. Zheng Yan, check carefully. This will be our living expenses in the future. Leng Ruoxue took the ring and handed it to Zheng Yan. Okay, Mississippi. Zheng Yan took the ring with a smile on his face. Hee, it felt so good to see the pained expressions on the elders' faces. Check carefully. By the way, did you include the money for your rooms and meals these few days? Leng Ruoxue turned her beautiful eyes to the elders and asked after instructing. This is our money for the next few days. The corner of Elder Lien's mouth twitched. Then he took out a storage ring and said speechlessly, boo-hoo. Why was she still thinking about this bit of money? Elder Lien, you're very dishonest. Leng Ruoxue took the ring and threw it directly to Zheng Yan before saying with slight dissatisfaction. I'm old, and my memory isn't good. Elder Lien wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and explained helplessly. Boo-hoo. Why didn't this girl know how to respect her elders? In fact, how could he have forgotten? They felt that it was too embarrassing to be led by the nose by Leng Ruoxue, so they didn't intend to give it as long as Leng Ruoxue didn't mention it. Their idea was that they would have a sense of accomplishment even if they could take a little advantage of Leng Ruoxue. However, they didn't expect their little thoughts to make them even more embarrassed. Oh, Elder Lien, do you need me to refine some pills that can enhance your memory? Leng Ruoxue said with a spurious smile. In fact, she had been laughing in her heart. These old men were not qualified to fight with her. No need, no need. I can refine it myself, Elder Lien said hurriedly. Boo-hoo. He didn't dare to eat Leng Ruoxue's food anymore. It was really too expensive. He was afraid of going bankrupt. Alas. Forget it since Elder Lien won't give me face. However, Elder Lien, when do you intend to give me an explanation about Zheng Yan? Leng Ruoxue changed the topic and brought it to Zheng Yan. Miss Leng, you know the current situation of the Alchemist Association. We don't have a place to work yet. Can we give you this explanation after we rebuild the headquarters? Elder Lien discussed. No, you have to give me a satisfactory explanation before I leave Carefree City. Otherwise, don't blame me for falling out with you. Leng Ruoxue warned. These old men's evasion made her very displeased because in her opinion, this was only clarifying Zheng En's innocence to the entire boundless heaven continent and informing the various alchemist association. There was no difficulty at all. The efficiency of these people's work was really too poor. All right then. The company commander's little heart trembled as he answered. Boo-hoo. He had decided to stay away from this demon from now on. Elders, is there anything else? Leng Ruoxue asked with a light smile. 2 words were written on her beautiful face, send the guests out. We're fine. Well, take our leave first. The company commander said. He had never seen Leng Ruoxue treat guests like this in his life. She actually chased them away without even letting them sit, let alone taking a sip of water. Boo-hoo. What kind of people were these? Chapter 556, A Good Thing That Fell from the Sky, 6, Wait. Leng Ruoxue suddenly called out to them before the elders of the Alchemist Association were about to leave the living room. Miss Leng, is there anything else? Elder Lien asked in puzzlement. Zheng Yan, their remuneration isn't bad, right? Leng Ruoxue turned to Zheng Yan. Yes. Zheng Yan suppressed his smile and replied. Miss was really too evil. However, he knew that the reason Miss did this was to vent for him. Oh, that's good. Elder Lien, you can leave now. Leng Ruoxue seemed to be relieved when she heard Zheng Yan's words. Then she said to Elder Lien and the others whose faces were a little blue. Well, take our leave. Elder Lien suppressed his anger and left the living room with the elders. "Ha, lass. Aren't you afraid that they will bear a grudge if you do this?" the little old man couldn't help asking with a smile after Elder Lien and the others left. "Don't be afraid. If they dare to play any more tricks, I'll directly deal with them," Len Ruoxue said without any emotion. "Schwer, don't worry. Those elders don't have the guts to plot against you anymore," Empty said with a light smile. "Yes." Len Ruoxue nodded in agreement. Miss. Len Ruoxue and the others were chatting when Blackie ran in anxiously. "What's the matter? What happened?" Len Ruoxue couldn't help asking when she saw Blackie's nervous expression. "Miss, Big Brother Cheng and Wu Gong are fighting. And he's injured." Hei Zi shouted worriedly. "Why did they start fighting? Isn't he invisible?" Len Ruoxue stood up and asked in puzzlement. "I don't know how Wu Gong found him. We saw the two of them fighting when we returned after cleaning up Wu Gong's subordinates. Big Brother Song and the others have already gone to help and asked me to inform Miss," Hei Zi said while panting heavily. "Let's go take a look." Len Ruoxue looked at everyone in the hall. "Okay." Everyone nodded and then left the living room with Len Ruoxue. After Len Ruoxue and the others arrived at the location of the fight, they saw several mystic sovereigns surrounding Wu Gong, who was cursing loudly. "You cowardly turtles, do you dare to fight me one-on-one?" Wu Gonghua roared. He was really angry. He had finally discovered the whereabouts of the people who were secretly causing trouble, but he didn't expect there to be so many people. Moreover, they were all mystic sovereigns. He might be a mystic supremacy, but he couldn't withstand the group attacks of so many mystic sovereigns. "Why should we fight you one-on-one? You, a mighty mystic supremacy, actually want a mystic sovereign to fight you one-on-one. Aren't you embarrassed? If I were you, I would have bought a piece of tofu and committed suicide a long time ago. It would be embarrassing to live anyway." Song Di shouted rudely. The other mystic sovereigns let out low mocking laughter as soon as Song Di finished speaking. Everyone looked at Wu Gong with contempt. "Are you all so capable of surrounding me?" Wu Gong was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. He kept complaining in his heart. Where did those damn subordinates go? Why didn't they scram back quickly? At this moment, he didn't know that his subordinates had already seen the gods. "We're weak, so what can we do?" Song Di said nonchalantly. He agreed with Miss very much now. Hee, as long as they could win, the process was not important. Wu Gong was so angry that he couldn't speak. Suddenly, he glanced at Len Ruoxue and the others, who were walking over. He couldn't help but say angrily, "Du Min, it's really related to you." "Yes, it has to do with me." "Can't I?" the little old man asked with a chuckle, his face full of schadenfreude. "How dare you repay kindness with ingratitude by staying in the territory of our carefree city?" "I've decided. I'll expel you on behalf of the Mystic Association." Wu Gong glared fiercely at the little old man and roared. "Are you sure you have the right?" the little old man asked mockingly. "Of course. I'm the vice president of the Mystic Association. I call the shots in the Mystic Association," Wu Gong said confidently. "You also know that you're the deputy? Then do you still remember that you have a president above you?" the little old man reminded coldly. "The president has been in seclusion for many years. Who knows if something happened? I'm the eldest in the Mystic Association now." Wu Gong emphasized. "Nonsense, you're the one who had an accident." Lan Ming couldn't help cursing when he heard Wu Gong curse his master. "Who are you, ugly freak?" Wu Gong glared and questioned. "Damn it, how dare you scold me? I won't let this ugly man go. I'm Lan Ming." Lan Ming gave his name directly. Then his lips curled into an intriguing smile as he looked at Wu Gong. "Lan Ming? Impossible. How can Lan Ming be as ugly as you?" Wu Gong said in disbelief. It wasn't like he hadn't seen Lan Ming before. How dare he lie to him? Believe it or not, Lan Ming said nonchalantly. Then he turned his head and ignored Wu Gong. Wu Gong, how did you find them? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously after taking a pill for the injured Qing Wu. Ha, do you want to know? I won't tell you. Wu Gong laughed hysterically and said proudly. I know even if you don't say it. It's because of these powder. Leng Ruoxue said in realization. She had just found these unknown powder on Qing Wu's body and guessed that it was most likely because these things were making monsters. How did you know? Wu Gong asked in surprise, his face full of disbelief. He thought no one would recognize the powder, but it was discovered by this woman so quickly. I'm not telling you either, Leng Ruoxue said angrily. You, Wu Gong was so angry that his face and neck were red. He kept cursing in his heart. How can there be such a despicable woman? What about me? Wu Gong, today is your death date. Enjoy the last moment of your life. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Chapter 557, Boss Owner, Want to Knock. 1. Don't be too smug too early. It's not certain who will die. Wu Gong retaliated. Is that so? Then be smug to your heart's content. Oh, right, do you have any last words to tell your old flame? It's best to say it now lest you don't have the chance to say it later. Leng Ruoxue said very understandingly. Can you tell me who you are? Why do you want to go against me? Wu Gong suppressed his anger and asked. It was really uncomfortable not knowing who his enemy was. Can't you guess? Seems like I overestimated your intelligence. Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue said very honestly. Alas. Were these people from the Mystic Association headquarters all very weak in intelligence? You are Leng Ruoxue? No. That's impossible. Everyone knows Leng Ruoxue is an ugly freak. Do you think I've never seen her? Tell me, who are you? Wu Gong didn't believe the words of this drop-dead gorgeous woman in front of him. His first reaction was that this woman was lying to him. Believe it or not, I don't care. Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly and then summoned her beast. Charm, Fengzhan, I'll leave this old thing to you. Leng Ruoxue said to her cute beasts with a light smile. Hee, master, don't worry. Well, definitely let him have an unforgettable memory, Fengzhan promised with a naughty smile. Okay, Song Di, you can leave. Leng Ruoxue nodded with satisfaction and then said to Song Di and the others. Yes. Song Di and the others obediently gave up their seats and left the venue to the cute but actually scheming and ruthless little beasts. Ah. They knew that they couldn't just look at the appearance of beasts since they knew their Mississippi. Do you think these little beasts can deal with me? I'm a mystic supremacy. Wu Gong couldn't help laughing when he saw the dozens of small and cute beasts surrounding him. He could kick these little things away with a kick. How could they be his match? Hey, didn't anyone teach you not to underestimate your enemy? Charm reminded very elegantly, killing intent flashing in its purple eyes. Underestimate your enemy? I can kick your little things away with a single kick. How can you be worthy of being my enemies? Wu Gong said with contempt. You want to kick us away with a single kick? How big must your foot be? Wu Gong, if you can't kick us away, every beast of ours will trample you into meat paste. Charm said without anger, a faint smile hanging on its fluffy little face. Charm, cut the crap with him. Let's attack. Fengzhan said impatiently. What's the rush? Didn't I already attack? We can save trouble if we can destroy him with words. Charm said with a light smile. Hee, it was an intelligent beast. Fighting was too barbaric. It had to use more brains in the future. Ah. That makes sense. Let's anger him to death. Fengzhan nodded in agreement. Infuriating. This is Darling's specialty. Darling said proudly. What are you so smug about? What's the point of living if you don't know how to anger people these days? Dazzle said very disdainfully. I don't know how to anger people. I just anger people to death directly, Ling said in distress, her tangled little face almost frowning. Get lost, the beasts roared in unison. Master, they were fierce to me. Tears welled up in Ling's eyes as she crawled into Len Ruox's arms to seek comfort. Ah! Don't be scared. Len Ruoxua comforted with 2 drops of cold sweat on her forehead. Alas! Why were her beasts so cute? Beloved master, don't be fooled by this guy who likes to pretend to be pitiful. Darling jumped into Len Ruox's arms and deliberately stepped on Ling under its claws to remind her. Damn fox, take your stinky feet away. It stinks. Ling couldn't help shouting. You damn snake, your feet are the stinky one. Darling roared furiously when it heard what Ling said. Could it be your butt? How long has it been since you washed it? Ling was stunned and couldn't help asking. You damn snake, don't frame me. I shower every day. Darling roared, so angry that the fur on its body stood up. Why are you still so dark if you shower every day? Ling pretended to be puzzled. Are you colorblind? I'm a purple fox, but that fellow is black. Darling pointed at Dazzle with its little paw. Oh, you haven't showered for too long. You can't shower anymore. Ling said. Do you still want to deal with Wugong? Len Ruoxua asked with a headache as she listened to the conversation between the 2 beasts. Yes. Darling and Ling said hurriedly in unison and ran back to the battlefield. Hey, you dirty and stinky Wugong. I want to destroy you on behalf of Master. Ling roared with a thunderous aura. Hee hee, little Wugong, I want to chop off your calves one by one so that you can't climb anymore. Darling said with a naughty smile. Darling, didn't you help him? How many pairs of shoes do you have to save if you cut off his legs? Confound said with disapproval, his cold eyes looking at Wugong non-stop. That's true. Then he'll keep his legs and chop off his claws, Darling said after some thought. Darling, is there a difference between Wugong's claws and legs? Feng Zhan asked doubtfully. Hee hee, I don't think so. Darling said with a chuckle, its expression very wretched. Damn it, are you done talking? Wugong felt blood rush to his head as he listened to the little beast's discussions. He couldn't control the anger in his body. Wait. Let's discuss whether to chop off your claws or legs. Darling said calmly. Damn it, you're dead meat. Wugong roared in anger. Wait? Could he wait? He would really be angered to death by these seemingly cute but actually vicious little beasts. Ah! Wugong is going to kill the beasts. Everyone, run! Darling suddenly shouted. Then the beasts cooperated and began to run around Wugong. Wugong was dizzy from them in a moment. Chapter 558, Boss Owner, Want to Knock. 2. Stop. Stop spinning. Wugong roared angrily. Boo-hoo. Damn it. Why were these beasts reacting so quickly? They were about to spin him unconscious before he could do anything. How could they be so shameless? We can't stop. You're going to kill us if we stop. Darling said as it ran, its fluffy little face full of fear. Stop. I won't kill you. Stop. Wugong couldn't take it anymore. Boo-hoo. Just run away. Why did they have to run around him? Well, stop if you ask us to. That's so embarrassing. Feng Zhan said coldly. He flew around Wugong and threw small flames at him from time to time. Damn it, what do I have to do to make you stop? Wugong asked in exasperation. He was about to be angered to death by these beasts. What's the benefit of stopping? Charm suddenly asked, the smile on its little face so devious. What benefits do you want? Wugong asked while suppressing his anger. We want money, a lot of money, Charm said without thinking. Alas! It knew that its master lacked money. There's a lot of money in this ring. I'll give it to you. Stop spinning it. Wugong took off the ring and handed it to Charm. He really couldn't take it anymore. Since you've paid, let's help you. Charm took the ring and said understandingly. Ah. What do you mean? Wugong asked doubtfully. He felt that something was amiss, but he quickly understood what the little white fox meant. Brothers, let's be agile and help him. Charm said to all the beasts. Yes, yes. The beasts nodded in unison and began to use various means to leave an unforgettable memory for Wugong. Ah! You little liars. You lied to me. Wugong felt intense pain on his body and couldn't help cursing. Wugong, didn't you want us to stop? We stopped. Charm said innocently. Boo-hoo. They really stopped obediently. Charm, don't talk nonsense with this Wugong. Speaking of which, he has a lot of meat on him, and his skin is very thick. It's quite tiring to scratch him, Darling said with a displeased face. Boo-hoo. Its little claws were hurting from scratching. Ah. Stop scratching if you can't scratch him. We can teach him a lesson with a kick. Charm said after some thought. In fact, it didn't approve of using such primitive methods. However, it seemed that its master's beasts liked to use scratching. Alas! That was a method only low-level spirit beasts would use. Charm, that feeling is different, hee. Darling said with a chuckle. Ah. Do whatever you want. Charm said helplessly. Then it stood to the side elegantly to watch the commotion. Alas! This low-level method was not suitable for it. Charm didn't participate in the scratching army, but the other beasts were enough to make Wugong suffer. He was a mystic supremacy, but he was entangled by the small beasts and couldn't unleash his full strength. His body was covered in wounds in just a short while. Hee, Wugong, take this. Darling was tired from scratching. It condensed the water attribute mystic energy in its body into a water ball, gathered it in its claws, and threw it at Wugong. With a splash, Wugong, who was unprepared, was drenched by the huge water ball. Moreover, the water attribute liquid quickly seeped into his wounds, making him want to bang his head against the wall. Hee, Wugong, let me help you dry your clothes. Feng Zhan said very kindly when he saw Wugong drenched in soup. He spat out a stream of southern spirit flame. Wugong's clothes were dried in the blink of an eye, but the flames on his body continued to burn. Ah! It's on fire. I'll help you. Darling said quickly and threw water balls at Wugong one after another. However, its water ball failed to extinguish Feng Zhan's southern spirit flame. Instead, it made Wugong into a drenched chicken. Then the flames on Wugong's body dried Darling's water ball. They repeated this process over and over again. Before long, Wugong fainted. Obviously, he fainted from anger. Ah! Lass, these beasts of yours are really good. The little old man, who had been watching the commotion by the side, wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. Alas! These beasts were really too terrifying. Even the mystic supremacy fainted from their anger. Amazing. Hee, it's okay. Leng Ruoxue said with a smug smile. She knew very well what her beasts were capable of, so she was not surprised that they would make Wugong faint from anger. In fact, she felt that Wugong's endurance was too poor. Humph. What a useless mystic supremacy. Master, this is Wugong's storage ring. He's very poor and doesn't have much money. Charm jumped into Leng Ruoxue's arms and said with disdain. Oh. Leng Ruoxue took the ring and threw it to Zheng En without looking at it. Master, this Wugong fainted. What should we do? Charm raised its little head and asked. Hee hee, this Wugong can't live anyway. Do as you see fit. Leng Ruoxue said with a malicious smile. Boss master, why don't we use him to fish? I know of a type of fish that likes powerhouses the most. Moreover, that kind of fish is also very delicious, the little peacock suggested. Are you talking about the golden sand fish? Icy, which had been sleeping, opened its eyes and asked. Yes, that kind of fish is very difficult to capture. However, it will be very easy to capture with this Wugong as bait, the little peacock explained. Hee hee, what are we waiting for? Let's go fishing quickly. Icy said impatiently. Golden sand fish were legendary delicacies. However, golden sand fish lived in the deep sea, and it was extremely difficult to capture them. And as Little Peacock said, it would be very easy to capture them if there was good bait. Hee hee, if it remembered correctly, golden sand fish seemed to like it the most. Chapter 559, Boss Owner, Want to Knock. 3. You want to use the mystic supremacy as bait? Leng Ruoxue asked speechlessly. Poor Wugong. Why did he provoke her? Now he was in the hands of these gluttonous beasts. Alas! She felt some pity for Wugong. Hee hee, he's going to die anyway. Don't waste it. Icy said with a naughty smile. But isn't this too cruel? Leng Ruoxue asked uncertainly. She couldn't bear to. Little Snowy, you're too kind. Alas! You don't have to worry about this matter. Leave it to me, Icy said, taking on everything. Alright, I don't care anymore. But Wugong definitely can't live. Leng Ruoxue reminded. Yes, yes. Don't worry. We will destroy him after fishing, Icy said with certainty. Little Icy, where are we going to fish the golden sand fish? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. This kind of fish can only be found in the deep sea, Icy said. Ah. Then you're going to the sea. Is there a sea nearby? Leng Ruoxue's beautiful face was full of question marks. Yes, but it will take about 2 hours to fly there from Carefree City, Icy said after some thought. Boss master, it won't take 2 hours with me around. Hee hee, 1 hour will be enough, the little peacock said. It was a super legendary beast, so its flying speed was naturally very fast. Then let's go. Leng Ruoxue said. She was also curious about the golden sand fish. Moreover, she wanted to know how Wugong was going to be bait. Let's go. Leng Ruoxue stored the beasts in the bracelet, tied Wugong with a rope, and sat on the little peacock's back. She said after everyone sat up. Empty, have you heard of the golden sand fish? Leng Ruoxue couldn't help asking on the way. I've eaten it once. It's indeed delicious. However, golden sand fish are fierce by nature and not easy to capture, Empty explained. Oh. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Lass, the fish bones of the golden sand fish can be refined, the little old man said. Really? Leng Ruoxue said in surprise. Yes, that fish bone is very sharp. It's most suitable for refining knives, swords, and other weapons, the little old man said. This is the first time I've heard of it, Leng Ruoxue said doubtfully. However, she couldn't help thinking in her heart, could the knives and swords refined from fish bones be sturdy? After flying for about an hour, the little peacock brought everyone to a large blue sea. The sea was endless blue, beautiful and deep. Lass, this sea is called the River of Gaze, one of the largest oceans in the boundless heaven continent. Hee hee, the resources inside are very abundant, but it's also very dangerous, the little old man explained while pointing at the sea. Oh, where are we going to fish the golden sand fish? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. We have to go to the center of the sea. That's the deepest part of the sea, and also the golden sand fish's favorite place to live, Empty said. Little peacock, bring us there. Leng Ruoxue ordered. Okay, master. Sit tight. There are many sea beasts in this sea, the little peacock reminded. Yes. Len Ruoshua nodded. The little peacock flew directly toward the center of the sea, seeing that everyone was ready. Master, you can let Wugong go, the little peacock said after flying to their destination. Ah. How do we put it down? Len Ruoshua asked in puzzlement. Didn't fish have to have a fishing rod? Could they use a rope to fish? Hee, boss master, you just have to put Wugong in the sea. His blood will naturally attract the golden sand fish, the little peacock explained. The golden sand fish loved the smell of blood, especially the blood of the strong, so basically anyone who wanted to fish for the golden sand fish would use their blood as bait. However, fishing for the golden sand fish required a lot of blood, so not many people were willing to part with it. Oh. Len Ruoshu understood. Miss, let me do this kind of strength work. Chen Wu, who had recovered from the pill, said. Hee, Wu Gong. I didn't expect you to be bait one day. Chen Wu felt relieved seeing the unconscious Wu Gong. Okay. Len Ruoshua handed the rope to Chen Wu and then leaned in the freak's arms, preparing to watch the commotion. Chen Wu brought Wu Gong's rope into the sea bit by bit. He held the other rope in his hand and lay on the little peacock's back, waiting for the fish to take the bait. Soon, Wu Gong's blood flowed into the sea from his wounds. Chen Wu raised Wu Gong into the air to prevent him from bleeding too much and contaminating the sea. Is this little blood enough? Len Ruoshua asked curiously. It should be about time. If it's not enough, let it out later. Chen Wu said with a smile. It wasn't his blood anyway, so his heart didn't ache. If you see the golden sand fish later, you have to move quickly. Empty reminded them. The golden sand fish were very cunning, and they might not be able to capture it even if they were attracted by the blood. This was also one of the reasons why the golden sand fish were difficult to capture. Yes. Song Di and the others nodded repeatedly. They had only heard of golden sand fish and had never eaten them because they couldn't bear to part with their blood. Boo-hoo. Why was that fish's preferences so different? After a while, there was still no movement on the dark blue sea. Chen Wu took out a dagger and stabbed Wu Gong with it, bleeding him. That bit of blood isn't enough, Icy said calmly with its eyes narrowed. The taste of golden sand fish was unique, and it didn't like the blood of non-powerful people. Moreover, it had to be a human powerhouse. Therefore, very few people were willing to use their blood to fish for the golden sand fish because it was very likely that they would die from excessive blood loss before they could fish. Ah. Not enough. Chen Wu stabbed Wu Gong a few more times, waking him up from the pain. Where are we? What are you doing? Wu Gong looked at his surroundings and asked fearfully. Chapter 560, Boss Owner, Want to Knock. 4, Can't you tell? This is the sea. Chen Wu gloated. Hee, thanks to Wu Gong, he actually had the chance to taste the legendary golden sand fish. He really didn't know if he should thank him or anger him to death. I know. I'm asking what you want. Wu Gong asked fearfully. Boo-hoo. Couldn't he tell that this was the sea? He wasn't stupid. We're fishing, Chen Wu said calmly. Fishing? Then why did you tie me up? Wu Gong asked gloomily. He was tied up like a dumpling. He couldn't run even if he wanted to. Boo-hoo. What rope was that? He couldn't break it. You're bait. What if you run away without being tied up? Chen Wu said matter-of-factly. Fish bait? What fish do you want to fish? Wu Gong asked in disbelief. Damn it, these people actually used him as bait. Boo-hoo. He had a bad feeling that they weren't catching good fish. We want to fish for the golden sand fish. Have you heard of it? Chen Wu asked with a smile. Golden sand fish. No, I don't want to be bait. Let go of me quickly, or I won't let you go, Wugong roared excitedly. Boo-hoo. Golden sand fish. He might not be able to fish them even if he released all his blood. You are now our prisoner, and you have no choice but to be willing, understand? Cheng Wu reminded kindly. Humph. This coward only dared to treat these mystic masters like them. He actually didn't even have the strength to fight back against those beasts that called themselves Mississippi Mystic Supremacies. How embarrassing. You. I'm the vice president of the Mystic Association headquarters. You actually dare to treat me like this. Do you still want to survive on the boundless heaven continent? How ridiculous. Wugong threatened without blinking. Ha, little Wugong. Do you really think you're still the vice president of the High and Mighty Mystic Association? You're just our captive now, Song Di said with a face full of mockery. He's too noisy. Leng Ruoxua narrowed her beautiful eyes with slight displeasure. Hee hee, my young miss said you're too noisy. Stay in the water. Cheng Wu threw Wugong into the sea after speaking. You. I won't let you go. Hurry up and pull me up. I don't know how to swim. Wugong kept flapping in the sea while shouting. Little Wugong, be good and learn how to swim in the sea yourself. We'll pull you up when we catch the golden sand fish. Cheng Wu promised. I don't want to. I don't want to. Wugong cried out in a sorry state, his voice becoming lower and lower. Cheng Wu, is he dead? Leng Ruoxua couldn't help asking curiously when she saw that Wugong was silent. Miss, a mystic supremacy won't die so easily. He's pretending to be dead. Cheng Wu said in realization. Oh, empty, why hasn't the golden sand fish taken the bait yet? Is Wugong's blood too stinky? Don't those fish like it? Leng Ruoxua guessed. She despised Wugong in her heart. Humph. Why did he do so many bad things for no reason? He stinked the blood and didn't even bite the fish. Swear, you have to be patient when fishing. The golden sand fish won't be precious if it takes the bait so easily, Empty comforted helplessly. Oh, fishing isn't my thing. Take your time fishing. I'll sleep for a while, Leng Ruoxua said impatiently. She closed her eyes directly after speaking. There's movement. Bring Wugong up quickly. Icy, which was pretending to sleep with its eyes closed, suddenly opened them. Okay. Cheng Wu hurriedly pulled the unconscious Wugong out of the sea when he heard Icy. After a while, the waves on the sea rolled, and huge black shadows quickly emerged from the sea. Hurry up and do it. Empty hurriedly sent a voice transmission after seeing the shadows of the fish. At the same time, he released threads of mystic power in his hand and stabbed into the bodies of the fish. In the blink of an eye, he brought the fish to the surface of the sea. Swear, quickly gather the fish, Empty ordered. At the same time, his hands did not stop. The others also mimicked Empty and condensed their mystic energy into a line, piercing into the bodies of the fish, and fished the golden sand fish up easily. Okay. Leng Ruoxua had long opened her beautiful eyes and looked at the scene on the sea. At the same time, with a thought, she stored the huge fish into the bracelet. Everyone worked together for nearly an hour, and the golden sand fish that were attracted were all in their pockets. Then everyone left this sea happily with the little peacock. The little peacock brought Leng Ruoxua and the others to a remote mountain and descended. Master, is this place okay? The little peacock asked. Okay. Leng Ruoxua nodded after looking around. These fish are really beautiful. Leng Ruoxua took out a few golden sand fish from the bracelet and praised. The golden sand fish were very huge, about 10 meters in length. Moreover, their entire body was golden, and even their eyes were golden. Ah! She really couldn't understand why these fish liked to stay in the deep sea. Wouldn't their golden appearance be easily discovered by enemies? Swear, these fish are very beautiful but also very fierce. Apart from the sea beasts, no creatures in the sea are their match. Moreover, they live in groups, so even sea beasts won't provoke them easily, she said calmly after seeing Leng Ruoxiu's thoughts. Oh, what do you intend to do with this fish? Leng Ruoxiu asked curiously. Ah. She didn't want to eat fish caught with Wugong's blood. Ha, of course we're eating. Shuer, don't think too much. Golden sand fish are rare delicacies. Empty said with a smile. But I really don't want to eat fish caught by Wugong as bait. Leng Ruoxiu said hesitantly. Lass, golden sand fish have to be fished with blood, so you really don't have to care too much who you use, the little old man comforted. Little Snowy, the golden sand fish are very clean, but only the smell of blood will lure them up from the bottom of the sea. In fact, they are all vegetarians, Icy explained. Chapter 561, Boss Owner, Want to Knock. 5. Leng Ruoxiu was speechless. Fish that were attracted by blood were actually vegetarians. Was this possible? Shuer, the main food of the golden sand fish is sea grass, Empty said. Sea grass? Are there enough sea grass in the sea for them to eat? Leng Ruoxiu asked in puzzlement. How much sea grass did they have to eat for a meal? Looking at the size of the golden sand fish? Ha, Shuer, it will definitely be enough. Empty said with a happy smile. Shuer, we won't eat if you don't want to, the freak said. He didn't believe that this golden sand fish would be better than the fish in Shuer's space. Okay, eat. Leng Ruoxiu said after some thought. To be honest, she was not very interested in the golden sand fish. Moreover, she agreed to use Wugong as bait to prank him, hee. Miss, are you really not eating? I heard that this fish is very delicious. Chen Wu couldn't help asking. Yes, I'm not too interested in this fish. Eat. Leng Ruoxiu said. Then she pulled the freak to sit beside Wugong and released her beasts. Master. Beloved master. The beasts immediately stuck to Leng Ruoxiu as soon as they emerged. They acted coquettishly and rubbed against her. Shuer, what are you thinking about? The freak asked curiously when he saw Shuer staring at Wugong thoughtfully. Freak, what do you think we should do with this thing? Leng Ruoxiu asked. Isn't his fate destined? There's no other choice, the freak said with certainty. People like Wugong were a scourge even if they were left alive, so eliminating them was the best way. Okay. Feng Zhan, I'll leave Wugong to you. Leng Ruoxiu nodded and then said to Feng Zhan. Okay. Master, leave this bad thing to me. Feng Zhan patted his chest with his small wings and promised. With that, he spat out his southern spirit flame. Immediately, Wugong, who was unconscious and on the verge of death, was covered in raging flames. Lan Ming, let's go to the Mystic Association headquarters after eating the fish. Leng Ruoxiu looked at Lan Ming after settling Wugong. Little Snowy, have you really decided? Lan Ming was a little depressed. He couldn't finish speaking. Little Lan Lan, don't tell me you think I'm joking. Leng Ruoxiu said helplessly. I'm only a mystic monarch. Those elders won't submit to me, Lan Ming found an excuse. Boo-hoo. He really wasn't prepared to take over the Mystic Association headquarters. Why did little Snowy have to force him? Kill whoever isn't convinced. Let's see who still dares to be unconvinced. Leng Ruoxiu said very ruthlessly, not hiding the killing intent in her beautiful eyes at all. Alas. Lan Ming sighed heavily and accepted his fate. He knew that little Snow wouldn't change her mind easily, so he could only be chased away. Boo-hoo. After Empty and the others finished eating the golden sand fish, Leng Ruoxiu stored the beasts in the bracelet, and everyone set off together. The little peacock brought Leng Ruoxiu and the others to the Mystic Association headquarters. The Mystic Association headquarters was still tattered, but it could barely accommodate people after these few days of repair. At this moment, the elders of the Mystic Association headquarters were stationed here. Outside the tattered main door of the Mystic Association, the little peacock flew in the air and said hesitantly, "Boss Master, should we knock?" "Why are you knocking on the door?" "Little peacock, we're here to challenge the hall." "There's no need to be so polite." Leng Ruoxua smiled lightly and said nonchalantly. Her words definitely had the suspicion of teaching children bad things. "Oh." The little peacock nodded to show that it understood. "Boo-hoo." It was a polite child. Boss Master would teach it badly. "Little peacock, quickly kick the door open," Leng Ruoxua urged, her beautiful face full of impatience. "Yes, Boss Master." The little peacock hesitated but still obediently placed its claws on the door of the Mystic Association headquarters, which was already on the verge of collapse. Immediately, there was a bang, and the door of the Mystic Association headquarters shattered into pieces. "Ah! This door is too fragile," the little peacock said awkwardly after doing something bad. "Hee, little peacock did well," Leng Ruoxua praised as she caressed its fluffy little head. "Hee. As long as Boss Master is happy," the little peacock said with a silly smile. It was so pleased to receive the praise of its Boss Master. "Who are you? How dare you cause trouble in the Mystic Association headquarters?" Dozens of mystics ran out of the Mystic Association headquarters and roared loudly after the door shattered. However, Leng Ruoxua and the others ignored them. "Hey, I'm asking you a question," a mystic couldn't help but question. However, no one bothered with them. "Who are you? How dare you cause trouble in the Mystic Association headquarters?" The mystic roared furiously, seeing that he was ignored. "This Mystic Association headquarters is really broken now." Leng Ruoxua looked at the Mystic Association headquarters with her beautiful eyes and said with a light smile. Yes, the former Mystic Association headquarters was dazzling and majestic. Moreover, these mystics from the Mystic Association headquarters are not very strong now, Empty said with slight disdain, his handsome face full of contempt. "Who are you exactly? How dare you cause trouble in the Mystic Association headquarters?" The mystic suppressed his anger and questioned again. "Causing trouble? No, we're here to challenge the hall." Leng Ruoxua finally had time to deal with the mystic and said very kindly. "Is there a difference?" the mystic asked foolishly, his ordinary face full of confusion. "Of course there is. Causing trouble is very informal, but the kick house is very formal, meaning that we are here to officially cause trouble." Leng Ruoxua explained as if she was speaking a tongue twister. "Damn it, isn't it the same?" The mystic finally reacted and couldn't help shouting in anger, knowing that he had been fooled. "You're too unperturbed. No wonder you're only a great mystic. Alas! With your strength, you can only run errands in the Mystic Association headquarters." Leng Ruoxua said in realization, her beautiful face full of sympathy. Chapter 562, The Divination is Everywhere. 1. What does this have to do with you? The mystic roared in exasperation. Boo-hoo. This woman cared too much. So what if he was just an errand boy? Couldn't he? Of course it's not my fault. However, let me tell you some news. The Mystic Association headquarters is about to change owners, so you're probably about to lose your job, Leng Ruoxua whispered mysteriously. Ah. How is that possible? Our Vice President Wu is a mystic supremacy, the mystic emphasized. He didn't believe Leng Ruoxua at all. Alas. Your Vice President Wu ran away with someone else. I won't care about you anymore. Leng Ruoxua sighed helplessly. Ran away? With who? Another mystic couldn't help asking. Is there a need to ask? Leng Ruoxua rolled her eyes and looked at the mystic like she was an idiot. Could it be with Madame Sun? The mystics guessed in whispers, completely ignoring Leng Ruoxua and the others. Leng Ruoxue was a little speechless seeing the mystics who were baring their fangs and brandishing their claws just now discussing Wugong's gossip. Alas! These mystics were really out of line. Moreover, their imagination was quite rich. Poor Wugong. He died and was wronged, Empty whispered with a light smile. I didn't wrong him. These people from the Mystic Association are too imaginative, Leng Ruoxue said innocently. Alas! She couldn't tell these people that Wugong was dead, right? That would be a huge blow to them. Yes, gossip is everywhere. Empty sighed and said helplessly. Alas! He also realized that mystics were becoming more and more foolish these days. Yes, hey. Are you done discussing? We're here to challenge the hall. Hurry up and tell us what you think. Don't count on Wugong. Leng Ruoxue waited for a while and couldn't help urging the mystics anxiously seeing that they were still talking non-stop. She still had to go back to sleep after settling the Mystic Association headquarters. Therefore, she didn't want to waste time. Ah. It's not convenient for the elders of the headquarters to see guests now. Come another day, the mystic said after some thought. Alas! He had to quickly inform the elders about Vice President Wu and the others running away. Moreover, these people seemed to have ill intentions, so he really didn't dare to provoke them. Uncomfortable to see guests. Why? Are there also times when those old men are inconvenient every month? Leng Ruoxue asked doubtfully. Ha, looks like it. The little old man laughed out loud without giving Leng Ruoxue any face when he heard this. The others couldn't help but chuckle softly. Of course not, the mystic quickly denied. Boo-hoo. This woman was too evil. She actually distorted his words. Wouldn't the elders skin him alive if they knew? What's so inconvenient about that? Anyway, we're here to challenge the school. Have you seen anyone who asks the challenger to come another day? Leng Ruoxue asked with a naughty smile. Ah. No, but, the mystic wanted to say something else but was interrupted by Leng Ruoxue. Go and notify them quickly since you don't have any. Of course, I have no objections if you choose to go and pass the message obediently after being beaten. Leng Ruoxue gave them two choices and let them choose one themselves. Wait a moment. Well, inform the elders now, the mystic said fearfully. Boo-hoo. He was only a small great mystic. Why were these people giving him so much pressure? Yes, good. Those who know the facts are the best. Go quickly. It'll only give you 5 minutes, Leng Ruoxue reminded understandingly. Hurry up and inform the elders that someone is coming to challenge the hall, the mystic ordered the people beside him. Boo-hoo. He didn't want to go in to bear the nameless anger of those elders. Their menopause had arrived. Yes, a mystic answered and left the door. May I know your names? The mystic asked with a forced smile. Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue gave her name bluntly and then looked at the mystic with a spurious smile. Ah. What about them? The mystic asked. In fact, he was a little surprised because he couldn't understand how this woman could be Leng Ruoxue. He had seen Leng Ruoxue when she participated in the Mystic Association headquarters competition, and she was not like this at all. However, he didn't dare to ask. You don't have to know about them, Leng Ruoxue said coldly and ignored the mystic. Ah. The mystic couldn't help wiping the cold sweat off his forehead, his heart racing. Did he really want to know? He was just afraid that he wouldn't be able to explain when the elders asked. Since Leng Ruoxue didn't say anything, the mystics from the Mystic Association naturally didn't dare to speak either. The atmosphere immediately fell to an icy cold point. Elders, please enter. A moment later, the mystic who went to pass on the message returned and broke the slightly depressed atmosphere. Let's go in. Leng Ruoxue turned to everyone. Okay. Everyone nodded and then walked into the Mystic Association headquarters with Leng Ruoxue. A mystic led the way and led Leng Ruoxue and the others to a side hall of the Mystic Association headquarters. This was now the headquarters' temporary office. After Leng Ruoxue and the others walked into the side hall, they found more than a dozen elders sitting in the hall. Each of the elders released their auras in an attempt to take them down a notch. Hee, is this how the elders treat their guests? Leng Ruoxue said coldly with a light smile. Upon seeing the provocation of the elders of the Mystic Association, Cheng Wu and the others naturally released their mystic energy, unwilling to be outdone. For a time, the two sides began to compete quietly. Leng Ruoxue, the freak, empty, and the little old man each found a seat and sat down calmly. The competition between experts was usually only for an instant, so soon, the elders of the Mystic Association headquarters were unable to withstand the might of Cheng Wu and the others. Although they were also mystic sovereigns, how could the auras of these elders, who lived like princes and princesses all day, compare to Cheng Wu and the others who were in life and death tests almost every day? Chapter 563, The Divination is Everywhere, 2, Miss Leng, we don't have any ill intentions, the first elder of the Mystic Association headquarters said apologetically after a while and secretly swallowed the blood in his mouth. Oh, Leng Ruoxue answered lightly and gave Cheng Wu and the others a look. Cheng Wu and the others immediately retracted their auras and the pressure in the side hall immediately returned to normal. May I know why Miss Leng and the others came to the headquarters? The first elder pretended to be confused and asked. He couldn't help being surprised as he looked at Leng Ruoxue. Alas! He heard that Vice President Wu had been sending people to capture Leng Ruoxue, but he didn't expect her to come knocking on his door. Didn't the mystic tell you just now? I'm here to challenge the hall, Leng Ruoxue said bluntly. I don't understand what Miss Leng means. The first elder said with a smile. What I mean is that I want the Mystic Association to change the person in charge, Leng Ruoxue said very bluntly. Old fox, do you still want to pretend to be ignorant now? Miss Leng, our president has been in seclusion for many years. The vice president is in charge of the headquarters now, so we have to obtain the vice president's permission to change people, first elder said awkwardly. First elder, don't think I don't know that you want to replace Wu Gong now. Leng Ruoxue exposed the first elder's lie rudely. Did this old man really think she didn't know what they were thinking? She didn't believe that this old man would support Wu Gong after being locked up by Wu Gong for so long. Miss Leng, this is an internal matter of our Mystic Association. You might be a mystic, but you are not qualified to participate in the affairs of the association headquarters yet. The first elder could only put on the dignity of the first elder seeing that he couldn't dodge anymore. First elder, you're mistaken. I don't want to get involved in the affairs of your headquarters. I just want you to recommend someone, Leng Ruoxue said calmly. Who do you want to recommend, Miss Leng? The first elder asked very politely. Lan Ming, he's the president of the Windless Cities Mystic Association and the disciple of your president. It's only right and proper for him to be the person in charge of your headquarters. Leng Ruoxue said with certainty. Lan Ming. How is he qualified? He's just a mystic monarch. An elder immediately objected after hearing Leng Ruoxue's words. They had debated for so long before deciding on the final candidate. Now, it actually benefited Lan Ming. If he's not qualified, then who is? Leng Ruoxue asked with a spurious smile. These damn old men were really shameless. Must they force her to use force? There are many people more qualified than Lan Ming in the Mystic Association headquarters. How can a mystic monarch like him manage the headquarters? The other mystics won't be convinced then, the elder said indignantly. Will the other mystics not be convinced, or will you not be? Leng Ruoxue asked coldly, the killing intent in her beautiful eyes so fast that others couldn't capture it. Of course the mystics won't be convinced, the elder said stubbornly, his expression a little unnatural. Let Lan Ming be the acting president. Anyone who isn't convinced, step forward if you have the guts. Leng Ruoxia's beautiful eyes glanced indifferently at the elders in the side hall. The elders looked at each other, but no one was willing to take the lead because they could tell that Leng Ruoxia definitely came with ill intentions. Moreover, they recognized Du Min, so they didn't dare to act rashly at all. Seems like you all don't have guts. Leng Ruoxia couldn't help mocking when she saw that no one dared to say anything after waiting for a while. Her beautiful eyes even glanced at the elder who spoke just now. I mean, there will be mystics objecting. The elder couldn't help quibbling because he was very embarrassed by Leng Ruoxia's gaze. Oh, why don't you call the mystics from the headquarters or Carefree City Inn? I'll see who's against it, Leng Ruoxia said casually. This isn't too convenient, right? The elder said with cold sweat flowing down his body. What's so inconvenient about that? Hurry up and call for help. I'll wait for them here, Leng Ruoxia said with very firm will. Humph. Don't expect me to leave obediently if these old foxes don't settle the matter for me today. Miss Leng, our Mystic Association is the largest association in the Boundless Heaven continent. Therefore, choosing the acting president can't be too casual. First Elder braced himself and said. Is it very casual to let Lan Ming be the acting president? First Elder, are you unwilling to let Lan Ming be the acting president, or are you talking about other mystics? Leng Ruoxia asked impatiently. She was already a little annoyed that these old things were beating around the bush with her. It seemed that some people had to use force, or they would not learn their lesson. The first elder was speechless. Alas! He couldn't say that they already had a candidate, but it wasn't Lan Ming. First elder, you would probably have been locked up by Wu Gong if the Mystic Association hadn't been blown up, right? Shouldn't you be thanking me? Leng Ruoxia said lightly with an intriguing smile on her lips. Damn it, did you blow up the Mystic Association headquarters? Another elder was furious and couldn't help asking loudly after hearing her words. Isn't this Wu Gong's lackey, Elder Hao? Why, have your injuries healed? I heard you were beaten up by a ghost because you did too many bad things. Leng Ruoxia didn't answer him but said sympathetically. Damn it, how dare you blow up the Mystic Association headquarters? We won't let you go. Elder Hao couldn't help shouting angrily when he saw his embarrassing matter being brought up again. Did I say that I blew up the headquarters? You idiot. Leng Ruoxia said speechlessly with faint contempt in her beautiful eyes. You were the one who said it just now, but you don't admit it now. Elder Hao was so angry. Damn Leng Ruoxia, how could she be so shameless? How despicable. Elder Hao, looks like you've really been beaten silly. I only said that the first elder should thank me. I didn't say that I would be the one to blow up the headquarters. Leng Ruoxia quibbled, you're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.